First, understand this: when you walk a path that others are unwilling to walk, expect resistance. People around you may feel uncomfortable because you challenge their way of thinking or disrupt the comfort of their status quo. They turn against you not because of your actions, but because of what your presence represents. Your growth, your progress, your success, it shines a light on their own lack of movement. Sometimes they fear the difference you bring, or worse, they feel threatened by the possibility that you might surpass them. Let me tell you something about progress. When you start evolving, when you begin to reach for your destiny, it creates a ripple effect. Those around you might not understand the journey you're on. They might have expected you to remain the same, to stay in the comfort of their own expectations. But as you grow, you outgrow the expectations placed on you by others, and in that moment, many of them will choose to turn away. There's a deeper reason for their actions. When people turn against you, it is often not a reflection of your worth, but a reflection of their own insecurities. They may have seen something in you that they wish they could possess: your confidence, your courage, your ability to stand tall, even when circumstances are difficult. And rather than rise to your level, they retreat into the comfort of criticizing, belittling, or distancing themselves. They cannot see the value in your journey because they are too focused on their own limitations. You see, your journey is unique. It doesn't fit into the boxes that others have built for themselves. When you choose to walk in your purpose, when you decide to pursue your dreams with relentless passion, you challenge the very narrative that others are living by. People are not always comfortable with the unknown. They prefer the familiar, even if it doesn't bring them joy. So when you step out into a realm of possibility, it forces them to face the discomfort of their own limitations. They might turn against you because they never truly understood you in the first place. It's easy to hold someone in high regard when they fit within your understanding. But when they evolve into someone new, someone unrecognizable, you become a stranger to them. This transformation may be too much for them to accept, so they turn away, retreating to a place where they can maintain their sense of control. Remember this: the betrayal, the turning away, it doesn't define you. It says more about where they are in their own journey than it says about your own. The reality is that people who are truly meant for your life will stay, even when things get tough. They will support you, encourage you, and walk with you, not because it's easy, but because they see your potential and understand the path you are on. So when they turn against you, don't take it personally. It's a reflection of their own struggle, their own fear, and their own inability to walk in the light you are bringing. Your purpose is greater than their opinion of you. It's time to move forward. Keep pushing, keep progressing. And remember that those who were meant to be a part of your journey will find their way back when they are ready. When you start evolving, growing, or making significant strides in your life, it's natural for people around you to feel a shift. You see, growth is not always comfortable for everyone. As you move forward, some individuals may feel as though you are leaving them behind, even if that was never your intention. Your success, your new direction, your changing perspective, and your pursuit of purpose can make others uneasy. They may not understand why you've chosen this path, or they might feel threatened by it. People around you often create a sense of comfort, a certain way of life, and when someone steps outside of that mold, when they begin to chase after something different, it disrupts the equilibrium. It's not personal, it's just that people become accustomed to things staying the same. When someone grows, when they take steps that others have not taken, it makes those around them uncomfortable. This discomfort may lead them to push away, criticize, or even turn against you. It's the fear of what they do not understand, and it's the fear of the unknown that often drives people to resist the very thing that can bring about change and transformation. You must realize that this shift you are experiencing, the growth that is so apparent to you, is not always easy for others to digest. They see it as a challenge to their own routine, their own way of living, and their own beliefs. They may not be ready for the discomfort that change brings, and so instead of embracing the growth that you are stepping into, they turn against it. But this is not a reflection of your progress. It is a reflection of their inability or unwillingness to step out of their comfort zones. Sometimes when you rise, when you begin to reach your true potential, others feel as if you are moving into territory they don't understand, and rather than celebrate your growth, they retreat into their own space of familiarity. This is why people who were once close to you can suddenly become distant or even hostile. Your success can unintentionally hold up a mirror to their own lack of progress, and instead of acknowledging their own limitations, they project their fears and frustrations onto you. So when you face resistance, when you feel the tension of others turning away, know this is not about you. It's about the fear, the discomfort, and the insecurity that arise when someone else's growth threatens the status quo of their life. You are growing, and they may not be ready for it. You are challenging their comfort zone, and they may not know how to handle it. This doesn't mean your progress is wrong. It simply means you're walking a path that others are unwilling or unable to walk. And that's okay. Keep moving forward, because your journey is about you, not about trying to make others comfortable with your evolution. As you continue to grow and step into your purpose, it's inevitable that you'll encounter people who feel threatened by your progress. This isn't because you've done anything wrong, but because your growth challenges the comfort zones of others. When you evolve, when you become more confident, more self-assured, and more aligned with your true purpose, it can stir up feelings of inadequacy in those around you. People are often more comfortable with things that remain the same, and when they see someone changing, improving, and moving forward, it can make them confront their own stagnant state. You see, growth is an uncomfortable process. It demands more from you, pushes you beyond your limits, and forces you to let go of things that no longer serve you. When you embrace this change, you send a message to others that it's possible to evolve, to move beyond the struggles and limitations that have held them back. But not everyone is ready to hear that message. Not everyone wants to be reminded that they are stuck or that they've chosen not to pursue their own growth. So instead of celebrating your success, some will look at you and feel threatened. They feel like you are outpacing them, and this discomfort often manifests as fear. The fear isn't necessarily a fear of you per se. It's a fear of their own potential. When they see you taking bold steps toward your dreams, it forces them to question why they aren't doing the same. It makes them confront their own hesitations, doubts, and procrastination. And in that moment, instead of being inspired by your progress, they react with resistance. They might even try to pull you back down to their level, either consciously or unconsciously, because they can't bear the thought of being left behind. There's also a fear of being overshadowed. If you rise to a place of success or fulfillment, it may shine a spotlight on their own failures, struggles, or missed opportunities. Your growth forces them to ask uncomfortable questions about their own life, and not everyone is ready to face those questions. It's easier for them to criticize, belittle, or turn against you than to face the truth that they are holding themselves back. This fear can manifest in many ways. It could be in the form of gossip, criticism, or even passive-aggressive behavior. Some people may distance themselves from you, not because they don't care, but because they feel inadequate in comparison to your progress. The change you're experiencing highlights the fact that they are not moving forward in the same way, and instead of motivating them to grow, they retreat. They convince themselves that you are somehow wrong for choosing to grow, not realizing that their discomfort is a reflection of their own fear and hesitation. It's important to recognize that their fear is not your burden to carry. You cannot shrink back in order to make them feel comfortable. Your growth, your success, and your progress are not threats to anyone else's life unless they choose to see them as such. When you begin to rise, when you start to step into the fullness of your potential, you give others the opportunity to rise with you. But if they choose not to, that's their choice. Don't dim your light to make others feel better. You are meant to shine, and in doing so, you give them the chance to either join you in that light or stay where they are. So remember, their fear of your growth is a reflection of their own limitations, not a reflection of your worth. Don't let their fear dictate how you live your life. Keep pressing forward, because you are walking the path you were designed to walk, and no one's fear should hold you back from fulfilling your purpose. As you progress along your journey, you might notice that your personal growth begins to create a ripple effect. This ripple doesn't just affect you, it touches the lives of everyone around you. Your decisions, your new habits, your elevated mindset, it all radiates outward, impacting those who are in close proximity to you. Now, while some people may be inspired by your progress and choose to align with you, there are others who will respond with discomfort, because your growth forces them to confront their own lack of movement. You see, when you start pushing forward, when you start reaching for your dreams and your goals with intensity and purpose, you become a mirror for those around you. You become a living example of what is possible when one takes action, when one commits to growth and transformation. This can be both powerful and uncomfortable for those who are not yet ready to make those same steps. People who are not on the same path as you may begin to feel uneasy because your success challenges their way of life. Your progress reminds them of where they are not, and often this discomfort leads them to push you away, either subtly or overtly. The ripple effect of your progress is not just about physical achievements or visible success. It's about the energy you bring into every room you enter. You may find that even the smallest shift in your mindset can cause a shift in the dynamics of your relationships. As you begin to think more positively, speak with more confidence, and take bold steps toward your goals, you create an energy that some will find magnetic while others will resist. For those who are not willing to grow, this energy can be intimidating. They might feel as though they are being left behind or that they are somehow inadequate compared to the version of you that is emerging. Instead of being inspired by your journey, they might look at you with jealousy or resentment. They may not consciously recognize it, but subconsciously, they are wrestling with the discomfort that arises from comparing their stagnation to your movement forward. It's important to understand that this discomfort is not something you are causing intentionally. You are simply living your truth and pursuing your purpose. The discomfort that others feel is a reflection of their inner struggles, their fears, and their reluctance to move beyond their own limitations. It's a direct result of your light shining into their darkness, illuminating the areas of their life where they may be stuck, stagnant, or afraid to change. The truth is that we are all influenced by the energy around us, and when you start elevating your energy, it causes those around you to either rise to meet it or resist it out of fear or insecurity. This is the power of growth. It changes the environment. It creates waves that ripple through every interaction, every relationship, and every connection. Those who are ready to embrace change will be uplifted by your presence, while those who are not will retreat because they are not yet willing to step out of their comfort zone and face their own fears. But here's the beauty of this ripple effect. It is never your job to force others to rise. Your job is to rise yourself. You are not responsible for others' growth. You are only responsible for your own. As you grow, you give others the space to either rise with you or stay where they are. They can choose to be inspired by your progress or allow their fear and insecurity to hold them back. Either way, your growth is an invitation for others to look at their own lives and decide if they, too, are willing to take that leap into their own evolution. So when you experience resistance, when people seem to turn against you or pull away, recognize that it's a reflection of where they are in their own journey. Your growth has created a ripple that they are either ready to embrace or unwilling to face. Your progress is not meant to make them feel bad. It is simply a sign that you are doing the work necessary to step into your true purpose. Keep growing, keep evolving, because the ripple effect of your growth will continue to inspire those who are ready to rise. Insecurity is a powerful thing. It can manifest in subtle ways that we may not even recognize in ourselves. But when someone else begins to excel, to evolve, to become the best version of themselves, it often brings out the worst in those who are not yet comfortable in their own skin. Instead of celebrating your progress, they project their own feelings of inadequacy onto you. They see your strength and it makes them feel weak. They see your confidence and it highlights their own self-doubt. Your success becomes a mirror that reflects back at them everything they have not yet achieved or dared to pursue. Insecurity doesn't just come from a lack of external accomplishments. Often, it stems from a deep internal sense of not being enough. It's the belief that they are not worthy of success or happiness, that their own potential is limited. And when someone close to them starts to break free from those same limitations, it forces them to acknowledge something they may not want to, that their own potential is untapped, that they too could be stepping into greatness, but they haven't chosen to. This awareness creates discomfort, and rather than confront it, some will choose to project that discomfort onto you. They may try to undermine you, belittle your success, or distance themselves from you altogether in an attempt to protect their fragile sense of self-worth. The key to understanding this is recognizing that their behavior is not a reflection of your actions, but of their inner struggles. You're not doing anything wrong by growing and advancing in life. In fact, you're doing exactly what you should be doing. But for those who are struggling with their own insecurities, your growth is a constant reminder of their own fears and limitations. They see you living the life they wish they could, and that creates a painful contrast with the life they have chosen to settle for. Rather than acknowledge that your growth is possible for them too, they might attack or reject it because they feel inadequate. It's easier for them to tear you down or distance themselves from you than it is to confront the deep-rooted insecurities that are preventing them from stepping into their own greatness. Instead of celebrating your rise, they might criticize your journey, not realizing that the criticism is more about their own self-doubt than it is about you. It's important to recognize that these insecurities are not your burden to bear. You are not responsible for healing or fixing anyone's sense of self-worth. While you may feel sympathy for those who are struggling with their own insecurities, your focus must remain on your own path. You can't allow someone else's inability to see their own value to pull you down or cause you to second-guess your own worth. Their insecurities are theirs to manage, just as your growth is yours to pursue. When you grow, when you rise to your full potential, you give others the opportunity to face their own insecurities and choose whether or not they want to overcome them. It's an invitation to them, but it is never to carry the weight of their emotional struggles. Understand that when people turn against you because of their insecurities, it's not personal. It's just their own fear and self-doubt playing out. You have no control over that. What you can control is how you continue to show up for yourself. Keep growing, keep evolving, because your journey is not meant to shrink to fit the insecurities of others. You are meant to rise, to shine, and to inspire those who are willing to face their own fears and step into their own greatness. One of the most difficult truths we must face on our journey of growth is that not everyone is going to understand us. When you begin to walk in your purpose, when you start becoming the best version of yourself, it can cause friction with those around you, especially if they have a limited view of who you are or what you are capable of. People will turn against you not necessarily because you've done anything wrong, but because they can no longer reconcile the version of you they have in their mind with the person you are becoming. You see, for many, we are often confined by the labels and identities others place on us. They know us from a certain time or a specific role, and they become comfortable with that. They have built their own perception of who we are based on past experiences or memories. When you begin to change, to evolve into a person they don't recognize, it disrupts their understanding of you. It's as though they no longer know how to categorize you or where to place you in their lives. This disruption creates confusion. And sometimes that confusion results in rejection. The more you grow, the more you step into your own power and uniqueness, the more you challenge the old story that people have written about you, you are no longer the same person they once knew. And that can be uncomfortable for those who feel they have a certain expectation of you. People have a tendency to hold on to the past, to keep people in boxes that they themselves can understand and control. When someone begins to transcend the box they put them in, it forces them to reconsider their entire view of that person. They may feel threatened because you are no longer fitting into the role they have assigned to you. You've outgrown that version of yourself, but they have not yet embraced the new you. This discomfort can lead them to turn against you. They may criticize your choices, your actions, or your newfound mindset. They may even try to pull you back into the old narrative, not because they want to hurt you, but because it makes them uncomfortable to see you evolve beyond what they had envisioned. The reality is that their inability to accept the new version of you is not a reflection of your worth or your growth, but rather a reflection of their own inability to adapt and accept change. This phenomenon happens in every aspect of life. We see it in family dynamics, friendships, and even in professional relationships. When you outgrow the roles that people have cast you in, it disrupts their world. They no longer have the same certainty about who you are, and that uncertainty can make them feel threatened, insecure, or even fearful. As a result, some will pull away from you, some will criticize you, and others may even try to undermine your progress. They are not rejecting you because of something you've done. They are rejecting the change in you that forces them to confront their own resistance to change. It's important to remember that these reactions are not your responsibility. You cannot force people to accept the person you have become. You cannot control how others perceive your growth or how they respond to it. But what you can do is remain steadfast in your journey. You must continue to honor the person you are becoming, even if others are struggling to see it. While it can be painful to see people turn against you, understand that it's not always a reflection of your character, but a reflection of their inability to accept the new reality of who you are. You are no longer the person they once knew, and that challenges their understanding of you. Their discomfort is a byproduct of their own struggle to reconcile their past perception with the person you are now. This is why it's so important to hold onto your sense of self and stay true to your journey. You must rise above the judgments and criticisms of others, understanding that your growth and evolution are yours alone. No one else can define you but you. As you continue to evolve, you will naturally outgrow some relationships, and that's okay. Some people will struggle to accept the changes in you, but that's a part of your personal transformation. The most important thing is that you keep moving forward, that you keep growing into the fullest version of yourself, regardless of who is able to accept it. Your journey is your own, and the people who truly understand you will eventually align with the person you have become. The rest will simply fall away. When you start growing, when you begin to evolve into the person you are meant to be, there is a powerful shift in the way you interact with the world. The energy you carry, the way you speak, the decisions you make, all of it begins to change. And when this happens, it creates an undeniable contrast between your new self and those who are not on the same path. This contrast is not something you are consciously trying to create. It's simply a byproduct of your personal growth. However, for many people, this shift can be jarring, and they may react by distancing themselves from you or even turning against you. Why does this happen? It's because people who are not growing or are not on the same level as you may find it difficult to understand your transformation. They have become accustomed to the old version of you, the one who perhaps played small or followed the same routines and patterns. But as you change, they are confronted with something unfamiliar. Your growth forces them to question their own life choices, their own beliefs, and their own fears about the future. And that discomfort can manifest in resistance, rejection, or judgment. For many, seeing someone they care about change in such a significant way can trigger feelings of insecurity or even fear. When you begin to rise, it highlights the areas in their life where they feel stagnant or stuck. It's easier for them to resist you, to criticize you, or even to turn against you than it is to face the possibility that they too could be on a path of growth if they choose to take it. Your transformation forces them to confront the fact that they too have the potential to change, but they may not be ready to do the work required for that change. Instead of embracing the potential for growth, they choose to retreat and pull away from the very person who is holding up a mirror to their own fears and limitations. This is the natural result of personal growth. As you evolve, you begin to make choices that align with the highest version of yourself. You make decisions based on purpose, passion, and a deep sense of direction. People who are not used to living with that same sense of clarity may feel unsettled by your choices. They may not understand why you are making the decisions you're making, especially if they are still operating out of fear, insecurity, or past patterns of behavior. To them, your growth may seem like a rejection of the life they are still clinging to. Instead of celebrating your progress, they might feel threatened by it because it highlights the areas of their life where they are still stuck. In many cases, this resistance is not about you at all, but rather a reflection of their own inner struggle. When people see you make bold moves, pursue your dreams with determination, and step into your power, it forces them to ask themselves why they are not doing the same. This question often brings up uncomfortable feelings of regret, unfulfilled potential, and self-doubt. Rather than confront those feelings, they choose to react in ways that push you away. They may try to bring you down, criticize your decisions, or distance themselves from you because your growth is too much of a reminder of the growth they have not yet achieved in their own lives. It's important to remember that this reaction is a reflection of their own internal struggles. It is not a judgment on you, but rather a projection of their own fears and limitations. They might not have the tools or the mindset to understand your growth, and that can make them feel disconnected from you. But this does not mean you should stop growing or dim your light to make others more comfortable. Your growth is your responsibility, and it is necessary for you to continue moving forward on your journey, regardless of how others react. As you rise and evolve, you are bound to outgrow some relationships, not because you want to, but because the contrast between your growth and their stagnation becomes too great to ignore. Some people will choose to stay where they are, holding on to the past, and that's okay. You cannot force anyone to grow with you. Your journey is yours alone, and it is not for you to carry the weight of others' resistance. What matters is that you remain committed to your growth, that you continue to rise, and that you stay focused on your purpose. The people who are meant to walk with you will find their way into your life. Those who are not ready for change may drift away, and you must allow them to do so without feeling guilty or responsible for their choices. As you continue to grow, one of the most painful realizations you might face is that some people who once supported you or were once close to you will turn against you. This betrayal can be confusing, especially when you feel that you haven't done anything to deserve it. But the reality is that when you start to evolve, when you begin to align more fully with your purpose and pursue your dreams, you unknowingly stir up envy in others. This envy doesn't come from a place of malice, but rather from the discomfort they feel in seeing you become the person they perhaps wish they could be, or the person they never thought they would be able to become. You see, envy often arises from the belief that someone else's success, joy, or progress somehow diminishes their own. When people are caught in the grip of envy, they may not even be aware of it at first. What starts as admiration or friendly competition can eventually morph into jealousy because their own lack of progress or their own inability to pursue their dreams causes them to feel left behind. As you step into your greatness, they might feel that they are being left in the dust, and this perceived gap can cause them to react defensively. Instead of celebrating your success, they begin to resent it. This resentment can manifest in many forms, including subtle jabs, distancing themselves from you, or even outright criticism. The most challenging part of this dynamic is realizing that those who turn against you might not even understand why they are doing so. They may not fully comprehend that their jealousy stems from their own insecurities, their own fears about what they could have accomplished or still could accomplish if they chose to push through their own self-doubt. But rather than face these feelings of inadequacy, they choose to project their emotions onto you. They start to blame you for their own lack of progress, for the fact that they feel stuck, and they may begin to question everything about your success, even your motives. This is where it becomes important to understand that this reaction is not personal. It has nothing to do with who you are or what you've done to them. It has everything to do with the internal battle they are fighting within themselves. When people are confronted with someone who is excelling in ways they never thought possible, it triggers a deep reflection of their own limitations. They wonder why they aren't achieving the same level of success, why they haven't pursued their dreams the way you have. This is the root of envy, the belief that if you succeed, it somehow means they have failed. And rather than confront this painful truth, they find it easier to direct their negative energy toward you. Sometimes envy can be so powerful that it blinds people to the positive aspects of your journey. They stop seeing you as someone who is simply pursuing their purpose, and instead they start viewing you as a threat to their own self-worth. This shift in perception can lead to a breakdown in the relationship. The envy begins to fester and grows into bitterness, and this bitterness can cause them to distance themselves from you, criticize you, or even attempt to sabotage your progress. They may start telling others negative things about you or spreading rumors, all in an attempt to bring you down to their level of discontent. It's important to recognize this for what it is, a reflection of their own internal struggles. Their envy does not diminish your worth or the value of your journey. It simply shows that they are wrestling with their own sense of self and their own inability to step into the fullness of who they are meant to be. The key here is not to internalize their envy or allow it to derail your progress. Instead, you must stay focused on your own path, understanding that your growth is not for anyone else to define or limit. People who are envious may not always show it openly. Often their envy is disguised as subtle criticism, passive-aggressive comments, or an unwillingness to celebrate your victories. They may try to make you feel guilty for achieving success or for stepping into your purpose as if you are somehow abandoning them. But what you must understand is that this is not your fault. Their envy is not a reflection of your success, but a reflection of their inability to embrace their own potential. In moments like these, it is essential to stay grounded and centered in who you are. Understand that their envy is not about you, but about their own internal battles. Your success does not take away from their worth. It simply highlights the fact that they may not yet have the courage or clarity to go after their own dreams. You must not let their envy alter your course. Continue to rise, continue to follow your path, and know that you are walking in alignment with your purpose. Ultimately, those who are envious of you may never come to terms with their feelings, but you cannot let that deter you from your mission. Stay focused on your purpose and remain compassionate towards them, but don't allow their envy to hold you back. Your growth and success are your birthright, and no one's jealousy can take that away from you. It's crucial to understand that while you may be confronted with envy, it's simply a reflection of the fact that you are doing what many others are too afraid to do. You are stepping into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. And for that, you should not apologize. When you are on the path of personal growth and transformation, it is natural for people to start viewing you differently, especially those who are not evolving at the same pace. As you grow, you begin to realize that the people who once walked alongside you, the ones who you thought would always be by your side, may start to distance themselves. This happens because your personal growth highlights something that is often uncomfortable for others, the fact that they are not growing with you. When people are stuck in their comfort zones, they do not always recognize the potential for growth within themselves. But when someone close to them begins to elevate themselves, it creates a mirror effect that forces them to confront the stagnant areas in their own lives. As you begin to rise, some people who are stuck in their past patterns or who are comfortable with the way things have always been may feel threatened by your change. This is a reflection of their fear of the unknown and their reluctance to leave behind old habits or comfort zones. They may not know how to adapt to your new way of thinking, living, and being. Instead of embracing your transformation as an inspiration, they might see it as a judgment on their own lack of progress. They might begin to feel that they are not good enough or that they are being left behind, and this triggers a range of emotions that may lead them to turn against you. What happens in these situations is that your growth forces them to ask difficult questions about themselves, questions they may not be ready to face. They may ask, why am I still in the same place? Why can't I move forward like this person has? And rather than confronting these questions head on, they choose to turn their frustration inward, sometimes projecting it onto you. This projection can manifest in various forms: jealousy, resentment, criticism, or simply withdrawing from you. They may become passive-aggressive, attempt to undermine your achievements, or even reject you altogether. These reactions are not about you, but about the unresolved internal conflict they are experiencing because of your success. The discomfort they feel when they see you changing comes from their own deep-seated fears about their own potential. They may not believe that they have what it takes to achieve the same level of growth or success that you have. When people feel inadequate or unsure about their own potential, they tend to lash out, sometimes without even realizing it. They may see your progress as a challenge to their identity or their sense of worth. In their eyes, your growth may symbolize what they lack, and in order to protect themselves from these uncomfortable feelings, they distance themselves or turn against you. Another reason people might turn against you as you grow is that your transformation requires them to change their perception of you. When people have known you in one light for a long time, it can be difficult for them to adjust to your new version. They may hold on to the image of who you were in the past, not realizing that you are no longer that person. As you evolve, you begin to take on new responsibilities, new priorities, and a new outlook on life. These changes can be disorienting for those who are not on the same journey of growth. They may feel that they no longer relate to the person you are becoming, and instead of supporting your journey, they may feel alienated or disconnected. This process can be painful, especially when you've invested time and energy into relationships that now feel strained or even broken. It may feel as though you are losing friends, family, or colleagues because of your personal development. But it's important to recognize that these changes are often not personal attacks against you. Instead, they are reflections of the other person's inability or unwillingness to evolve alongside you. People who are not ready to step into the fullness of their potential will often resist your growth because it forces them to acknowledge their own unaddressed fears and limitations. However, this resistance should not deter you from your journey. The truth is, some people are not meant to stay with you on every step of your path. As you rise, some relationships will naturally fall away because they are no longer aligned with who you are becoming. These are not losses, but rather necessary transitions that are part of your growth. The people who are meant to walk with you on your new journey will find their way to you. They will be the ones who support you, understand you, and encourage your continued growth. And while it may be painful to let go of certain relationships, it is important to understand that you are making space for those who will walk with you in alignment and mutual respect. This is the paradox of growth. The very process of becoming the person you are meant to be will sometimes require you to leave behind those who cannot grow with you. It may feel lonely at times, but understand that this is a natural part of the journey. It is not about abandoning others, but about honoring your own evolution and remaining true to the path that is uniquely yours. Letting go of relationships that no longer serve your growth allows you to make room for the new people, opportunities, and experiences that will enrich your life and help you become the fullest expression of who you were always meant to be. Your growth is not something you should shrink away from or apologize for. As you evolve, you are doing exactly what you were put on this earth to do, become the best version of yourself. Those who cannot join you on this journey will eventually be replaced by those who can, and this process will bring you closer to the people, opportunities, and circumstances that will support your highest good. Keep walking forward, knowing that your transformation is not only necessary for your own growth, but is also a catalyst for others to begin their own journey of self-discovery and change. In some cases, this projection can manifest in hurtful ways. They might criticize your decisions, question your choices, or even try to undermine your accomplishments. They might try to diminish your efforts or make you feel like you don't deserve the success you are experiencing. These reactions are not a reflection of your journey or your growth, but a manifestation of their inability to handle their own self-doubt and feelings of failure. Instead of using your success as motivation to rise up themselves, they may fall into the trap of comparison, where they believe that your progress somehow diminishes their own potential. To navigate this, you must maintain clarity about your purpose and stay grounded in your truth. Do not allow the insecurities of others to derail you from your mission. When people turn against you because of your growth, it is essential to remember that their actions are based on their own fears, not your reality. Their reaction to your success is their struggle to accept their own lack of progress. One of the hardest parts of growing is realizing that not everyone who started with you will finish with you. As you elevate, you will inevitably outgrow certain relationships. These are not losses, but natural transitions. It is important to let go of the expectation that everyone who was once part of your journey will stay with you as you continue to move forward. Your evolution will require you to shed old habits, old relationships, and even old versions of yourself that no longer serve your highest good. Life has a way of turning tables when you least expect it. There was a time when they overlooked you, dismissed your value, and failed to recognize the treasure that you are. But let me tell you, the pain you endured, the rejection you faced, and the tears you shed were not in vain. Every moment of hurt was preparing you for the season you're stepping into now. The people who underestimated you, who thought you were replaceable, are now sitting in silence, realizing what they've lost. They see the glow in your life, the strength you've gained, and the elevation you've reached. And now they cry not because of what they did to you, but because they see the magnitude of their mistake. What they didn't understand is that your worth was never tied to their approval. Your value was set long before they entered your life. The rejection they gave you was not a reflection of your shortcomings, but a sign that you were destined for something greater, something beyond what they could offer. They were blind to your potential, but you knew deep within that their opinions didn't define you. So you endured, you persevered, you refused to allow their treatment to dictate your future. And now the tables have turned. You've grown stronger, wiser, and more resilient. You've embraced your identity, stepped into your purpose, and left behind the weight of their opinions. They're crying over you now, not because you've changed, but because they see that you were the blessing they didn't value. Remember, this isn't a moment for revenge or pride. Their tears are not your triumph. Instead, let it be a reminder of the power of growth and the strength of resilience. You are proof that rejection is not the end, but a redirection toward your destiny. Keep moving forward, not to prove them wrong, but to fulfill the purpose that was always within you. Life has a way of using rejection as preparation for something greater. When they turned away from you, it felt like the end of the road. The pain was real, the questions endless, and the heartbreak overwhelming. You may have asked yourself, why me? What did I do to deserve this? But in the midst of that pain, something powerful was happening. Those moments of rejection were not meant to break you. They were designed to prepare you. Every tear you cried was watering the seeds of resilience within you. Every door that closed was directing you toward a better one. You didn't see it then, but each setback was a step forward in disguise. The rejection was pruning, not punishment. It was cutting away the things and people that were not meant to journey with you to the next level. It was making space for your growth, sharpening your focus, and strengthening your spirit for the greatness that awaited you. So while they may have thought they were dismissing you, heaven was busy positioning you. What looked like rejection was actually preparation for elevation. And now, as you stand stronger and more refined, it's clear that what you endured was not the end, it was the beginning of a new chapter that they could not foresee. They misjudged your value because they couldn't see beyond their own limited perspective. Often people fail to recognize greatness when it's right in front of them. They underestimated you, not because you lacked worth, but because their vision was too clouded by their own biases, insecurities, and misunderstandings. They saw your presence as ordinary because they didn't understand the extraordinary potential within you. They dismissed your kindness, your loyalty, and your unique gifts as though they were easily replaceable. But here's the truth: they didn't see you clearly because their perception was flawed. They judged you through the lens of their own limitations, not through the lens of truth. But you never needed their validation to prove your value. Your worth was established long before they came into your life. It was woven into your very being. They failed to see it, but that doesn't mean it wasn't there. They mistook your humility for weakness, your patience for passivity, and your grace for naivety. Little did they know, all of these were signs of strength, not vulnerability. And now, as they look back, they realize the depth of what they let go. The very qualities they overlooked are the ones they now miss the most. But their misjudgment doesn't define you. It only highlights their inability to see the treasure that was always right before their eyes. Your worth was never tied to their opinions, actions, or approval. Too often, we allow others to hold the pen that writes our story, believing that their validation is necessary for our significance. But here's the truth: your value was established long before they had an opinion about you. It was not something they could give, and it is certainly not something they can take away. When they rejected you, it may have felt like they were stripping away your identity, but in reality, they were exposing their inability to recognize true worth. Your value is rooted in who you are, not in what they thought of you. Their lack of appreciation says more about them than it ever could about you. You are like a rare gem, precious and unique. A person who doesn't understand the value of a diamond might treat it like a common stone, but that doesn't change the diamond's worth. The same is true for you. Your value is intrinsic, unshaken by the opinions of those who fail to see it. This is why you must never allow someone's inability to recognize your worth to make you doubt it. Their failure to honor who you are does not diminish your significance. You don't need their approval to shine. You only need to embrace the truth of your own value. Their rejection wasn't the end of your story. It was the redirection you needed. Sometimes the very thing we think is meant to destroy us is actually positioning us for something far greater than we could have imagined. When they walked away, it wasn't a sign of your failure. It was a signal that you were being guided towards something better, something aligned with your true purpose. Think about it. If they had stayed, they might have held you back. If they had accepted you, you might have settled for less than you deserve. Their rejection was a doorway to your redirection. It pushed you out of your comfort zone, forcing you to grow, to explore new paths, and to discover the strength within yourself that you didn't even know you had. At the time, it hurt. You questioned the why, the how, and the what next, but now, as you look back, you can see the wisdom in what happened. You weren't being cast aside, you were being realigned with your destiny. The very rejection you feared was a step toward the elevation you now experience. They thought they were closing a door on you, but in truth, they were opening a window to your future. Rejection isn't a curse, it's a compass, guiding you to where you truly belong. And as you stand where you are today, you realize that what felt like a setback was actually a setup for the incredible journey ahead. The challenges you faced didn't break you, they built you. Growth doesn't come from ease or comfort, it comes from adversity, from the moments when life forces you to dig deep to find strength you didn't know you had. Every disappointment, every tear, every moment of rejection was a part of the process that shaped the person you become today. When they turned their backs on you, it may have felt like a crushing blow, but it was actually the weight you needed to build your resilience. Like gold refined in fire, you were being purified through the trials. Each challenge stripped away doubt, insecurity, and fear, revealing the core of who you truly are. You didn't just survive those moments, you grew through them. You learned lessons that success could never teach. You discovered your capacity to stand tall, even when the world tried to knock you down. And with each step forward, you became wiser, stronger, and more prepared for the greatness that awaited you. The rejection wasn't the end of your story, it was a chapter that taught you perseverance. The hurt wasn't the defining moment, it was the catalyst for your transformation. And now, as you look back, you realize that the very struggles you thought would break you were the ones that built you into the person you were always meant to be. Now, the tables have turned. The same people who once overlooked you, underestimated you, or dismissed you are now watching you from a distance, recognizing something they failed to see before. They see the strength in you, the wisdom you've gained, and the power you now possess. What they failed to acknowledge in the past, they are now forced to confront. And in their eyes, you are no longer the person they thought you were. You are the person they should have seen all along. When they rejected you, they believed you were disposable, that you would fade into the background, and that they could move on without ever looking back. But what they didn't realize was that rejection was simply a momentary setback for someone destined for greatness. While they underestimated you, you were quietly preparing for a comeback, a rise that they couldn't predict. As they witness your growth and success, they can't help but feel the weight of their mistake. Their ignorance now feels like a heavy burden because they understand the cost of losing someone of your caliber. But this is not about proving them wrong. It's not about gloating over their regret. It's about recognizing the power within you to rise above their judgments and move forward with confidence. The very rejection that was supposed to keep you down has now propelled you to a level they never imagined possible. They see you thriving, excelling, and walking in your purpose, and it stirs something in them they can't ignore. What they didn't appreciate before, they are now crying over, not because of what they did to you, but because of what they failed to hold on to. Their regret is not about what they did to you, it's about what they lost. They didn't realize your worth when they had the chance, and now as they look at you thriving, they see the magnitude of their mistake. It's not your success that brings them sorrow, it's the realization that they had something precious in their hands and let it slip away. What they failed to understand in the past was that your value was never dependent on their acknowledgement. You were always a blessing, a gift in their lives, but they couldn't see it. They took you for granted, thinking that there would always be time to appreciate you later. But now, as they watch you flourish, they feel the sting of their loss. They are not crying because of the hurt they caused you, but because they've lost access to something they'll never be able to reclaim. In their hearts, they now understand that the person they dismissed wasn't just anyone. You were the one who would have stood by them, supported them, and helped them reach new heights. You were the strength they didn't recognize, the encouragement they took for granted. And now, as they cry over you, they mourn the opportunity they missed to value you when they had the chance. But here's the truth: their regret doesn't diminish your success. It doesn't take away from the path you're walking now. Their sorrow is a reflection of their own shortcomings, not your worth. You've moved forward, not because they didn't appreciate you, but because you understood your own value all along. And now their tears serve as a reminder that when people fail to recognize greatness, they can lose the very thing that could have made their lives extraordinary. As they cry over you now, remember this: the transformation you've undergone is not for their satisfaction, nor is it for the purpose of proving them wrong. It is for your own growth, for your own journey. The process of becoming who you were meant to be was never about getting back at those who hurt you or seeking revenge on those who doubted you. It was always about fulfilling your purpose, embracing your destiny, and stepping into the fullness of who you were created to be. The challenges you faced, the rejections, the struggles, all of it was preparing you for the greatness that was always inside you. You have learned to stand tall, not because you wanted to show them they were wrong, but because you realized that you are strong enough to rise regardless of their actions. You've discovered that true power lies in your ability to continue walking forward, focused on your own path without being consumed by bitterness or resentment. The hurt they caused you didn't define your future. The pain was the fuel that ignited your passion to succeed. And now as you rise, you do so not out of a need for validation, but out of a desire to fulfill your purpose. It is not their regret that should define your joy, but the realization that you've become who you are meant to be, and no one can take that away from you. Your success is not about proving anything to them. It's about proving to yourself that you have the strength, the resilience, and the resolve to overcome, to grow, and to thrive. Let your transformation inspire others, but do so without bitterness or malice. You've moved forward, not for them, but because you understood that your journey was never about them in the first place. It was always about you and the destiny that awaits you. Now, as they watch you succeed, they're realizing that the true cost of losing you goes far beyond the immediate moment. What they failed to see in the past was the impact you brought to their life, the strength, the inspiration, and the love you offered. They took it for granted, thinking they could find it elsewhere, that they could replace you with something or someone else. But now they realize that what they had with you was irreplaceable. You were never just someone to fill a space. You were the foundation of something greater. You brought qualities to the table that they didn't even recognize until they no longer had access to them. Your loyalty, your wisdom, your authenticity, these were gifts that not only shaped your connection with them, but elevated everyone around you. Now, as they see you thriving without them, it's dawning on them that they can't find what you brought. The lessons you taught, the stability you provided, the way you made them better without asking for anything in return, these are irreplaceable qualities. They were looking for happiness and fulfillment in places that couldn't offer them the same depth of connection. They didn't realize that what they had with you wasn't just a relationship, it was a partnership. And now that it's gone, they are left with the regret of having let it slip away. But this is your moment. You have become who you were meant to be without needing their validation or their acknowledgement. The life you are building now is the life that you were always destined for, and no one's absence, no matter how painful, can take away from that. They may be crying over the loss, but it is your strength and your growth that stand as a reminder of the invaluable gift they had and let go. And as you continue to move forward, you'll realize that you didn't lose anything at all. You gained the wisdom and clarity to recognize that your future was never tied to their presence in your life. As they cry over you now, understand that their tears are not about what you've done to them, but about the realization of what they've lost. They didn't realize your worth when they had you. They didn't see the treasure you were, the love you offered, or the loyalty you gave. But now, as they watch you stand strong, independent, and successful, they understand that the connection you once shared was not as replaceable as they thought. Their regret now lies in the fact that they failed to recognize the priceless value you brought into their life. You were never just another chapter in their story. You were the key to unlocking parts of themselves they couldn't see. Your presence, your support, your encouragement were irreplaceable. And now that it's gone, they feel the loss deeply. But here's the truth: they should have seen this earlier. They should have valued what was right in front of them. But their inability to appreciate you doesn't change who you are or the greatness you were always destined to achieve. Your success, your growth, and your peace are not contingent upon their approval or regret. The truth is, you are stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled because you've learned to look within for your validation, not outside. So let them cry, let them reflect, but know this, those tears are not for you. They are for themselves, for missing out on the one person who would have supported them in ways they could never have imagined. And as they cry over you, remember that it was never about them seeing you for who you truly were. It was always about you seeing yourself, embracing your own worth, and realizing that you don't need their recognition to continue on the path of greatness that you were always meant to walk. As they cry over you now, it is important to understand that their tears are not merely about the loss of your presence in their lives, but about the realization of what they forfeited. These tears reflect a deep, often painful recognition of the incredible value you brought to their lives, value they never truly understood until it was too late. When they had you, they didn't see your worth. They didn't understand the depth of your character, the richness of your spirit, or the potential of your future. They didn't recognize the treasure that stood before them. They saw you as someone to rely on in the moment, but not someone who could shape the trajectory of their lives. And now, as they look back and witness your rise, their hearts are filled with regret, and they realize that the one thing they took for granted was the very thing they needed to cherish. The regret that fills them is not just about the missed opportunity to love you the way you deserve, but about the missed chance to learn from you, grow with you, and share in the abundance that you brought into their lives. You were never just a support system, never just a companion or a friend. You were the catalyst for change, the person who challenged them to be better, to rise higher, and to think beyond the limitations they had placed on themselves. You were the one who saw their potential when they couldn't see it for themselves, the one who offered encouragement when they doubted, and the one who believed in their dreams when others had abandoned them. But they didn't recognize this at the time. They saw you as a given, someone who would always be there to serve them, support them, and pick them up when they fell. And in doing so, they failed to truly appreciate you. They thought they could find what you offered elsewhere, or perhaps they believed they could move on and find someone else who could fulfill the role you played. But what they didn't realize was that the love, loyalty, and commitment you gave were irreplaceable. The unique connection that you shared, the trust, the bond, and the deep understanding that flowed between you was something that could never be replicated. Now, as they watch you thriving without them, they understand the enormity of their mistake. What they lost was not just a relationship, it was a rare opportunity to grow and experience life with someone who would never have turned their back on them. The tears they shed are also a reflection of the loss of a future they had once envisioned with you. They may have imagined a life of shared dreams, mutual success, and endless possibilities, but their inability to recognize your value has shattered that vision. They can no longer picture the future they had hoped for, because they are no longer part of the story you are writing. They now see that your destiny was always greater than what they could offer, and that by not cherishing you, they have lost the opportunity to be a part of your journey. It's not just a loss of love or friendship, it's a loss of potential, of shared growth, and of an extraordinary partnership that could have changed both of your lives. But here's where the truth lies. Their tears, though filled with sorrow and regret, do not define your worth. The fact that they are crying over you is evidence that you have moved on to something greater, that you have embraced the journey of your own life and have stepped into the greatness that was always inside you. Their sorrow comes from the realization that they will never have the chance to walk beside you again. But that is not your burden to carry. Their tears should not weigh you down. They should serve as a reminder that you are no longer tethered to a past that no longer serves you. You have moved forward, and you are stronger, wiser, and more resilient because of it. Their tears may be a reflection of their pain, but they are also a reflection of your growth. They are mourning the loss of someone who, once gone, has become greater than they ever could have imagined. While they may be filled with regret, you are filled with purpose, with a future that is unfolding in front of you, a future that no one can take away. You are building the life you were always meant to lead, and the people who are meant to be part of that journey will come. The ones who see your value, who recognize your worth, and who will cherish you for the incredible person that you are. As they cry, they may reflect on the missed opportunities to love you, to support you, and to share in the joy of your life. But you must remember that their inability to see your worth is not a reflection of your value. It is simply a reflection of their own limited perspective. You were never meant to remain in a place where you were not fully appreciated or loved. You were never meant to stay with people who failed to recognize the greatness inside of you. You were always meant for more, meant to rise above the limitations of others and step into the fullness of your potential. Their tears may sting, but they will also fade because life moves on. And as their tears dry, you will continue to rise. Your journey is not defined by the past, by the people who failed to see you for who you were, or by the ones who let you go. Your journey is defined by your own commitment to your purpose, your unwavering belief in your worth, and your determination to become the best version of yourself. The truth is, you will never know the full extent of the impact you had on their lives until you walk away, until you remove yourself from the equation and allow them to reflect on the absence of the one person who truly understood them. You may never hear their apologies and you may never get the closure you hope for, but you don't need that to move forward. You are not defined by their opinion or by their regret. Your identity is rooted in something far greater: your relationship with yourself, with your purpose, and with the Creator who has placed greatness within you. So let them cry. Let them feel the loss. Let them carry the weight of their regrets. You, on the other hand, have a destiny to fulfill. You have a life to live, and that life is not dependent on anyone else's acknowledgement. You have already walked through the fire, and you are emerging stronger, wiser, and more capable than ever before. And as they look back on what they've lost, you will look forward to all that is waiting for you. Your future is brighter than any past that tried to hold you back, and you are destined for greatness, not because of their validation, but because of the power that lies within you. Their tears will eventually dry, and when they do, you will still be standing strong, living the life you were always meant to live, free, empowered, and filled with the peace that comes from knowing your worth. In the end, their tears are a reflection of their own loss, but your strength, your growth, and your success are a testament to your resilience. You've come a long way, and you didn't get here by holding on to the past or waiting for validation from those who couldn't see your worth. Your journey was never about them, it was always about you. It was about realizing the power within yourself to rise, to thrive, and to walk in the greatness you were always destined for. So let them cry, let them feel the weight of their regrets. But know this: you are not their past mistake, you are their future lesson. The world will see your value, even if they couldn't. And now, as you continue to move forward, you understand that the people who are meant for you, the ones who will recognize your worth, will never take you for granted. Your future is bright, and your purpose is unfolding in ways you could never have imagined. Keep going, keep growing, and keep walking in the truth of who you are. Their tears will dry, but your legacy will endure. The best is yet to come. Heavenly Father, in your precious name we pray. Amen. A woman loses a good man not because of his flaws, but because of her inability to recognize the treasure she has. The problem lies not in his imperfections, but in her lack of understanding about the value of the man in her life. She may be distracted by the fleeting pleasures of life or blinded by the desires of the world. She may take for granted the love, commitment, and security that he provides, never realizing that the love of a good man is rare, a gift from God. A woman might lose a good man because she fails to honor and appreciate him, not understanding that it is not just her beauty or charm that holds a man's heart, but her character and respect. She might neglect the foundation of communication and trust, forgetting that these are the pillars upon which any successful relationship is built. A good man does not need to be told he's loved. He needs to feel it through actions, through respect, through partnership. He needs to see that she values him not for what he can do for her, but for who he is. A woman loses a good man when she allows insecurity to destroy her confidence, when she projects her fears and doubts onto him. A woman who does not trust herself, who doesn't know her own worth, cannot possibly recognize the value of a good man. She may question his intentions, his loyalty, or his love because she hasn't yet learned to value herself. If she doesn't know how to care for herself, how can she nurture and care for the man who cares for her? She may lose a good man by making him feel invisible, underappreciated, or unimportant. When a woman becomes too focused on herself, she forgets the importance of giving in a relationship. Love is not just about receiving, it's about giving of herself, her time, her energy, and her respect. A woman who is selfish in love will eventually push the one man who is willing to give everything for her away. A good man, one who is faithful, hardworking, loving, and true, will not chase after someone who does not value him. He will not remain where there is no peace, where there is no mutual respect, and where his efforts go unnoticed. He will walk away, not because he doesn't love her, but because he knows his worth. He understands that he cannot continue to pour into a cup that is not receptive, that refuses to appreciate the value of his love. So a woman loses a good man not because of his shortcomings, but because of her own failure to understand the power of respect, love, trust, and communication. A good man will only stay where he is valued, where his efforts are appreciated, and where the relationship is built on mutual respect. A woman must recognize the treasure she has before it slips away, for once lost, it's not always easy to find again. A woman loses a good man when she fails to truly understand and recognize the value of what she has. Often, we take the people we love for granted, thinking they will always be there, and that is one of the most dangerous mistakes one can make in a relationship. A good man is not someone you find every day. He is rare. He offers loyalty, love, support, and strength when the world may be crumbling around you. But too often, a woman becomes comfortable, thinking that a man's love is a given, something that will always remain regardless of her actions or lack of appreciation. This is where she falters. The value of a good man is not in the things he does for you, but in the heart he gives. It is in his unwavering commitment to support you, stand by you, and care for you, even when you are not at your best. It is the trust he places in you, believing in your potential, even when you don't believe in yourself. He sees the best in you, and he encourages you to be better, to rise above your challenges, and to push forward when everything seems impossible. Yet too many women fail to see the depth of this love until it begins to fade. They may get caught up in the day-to-day distractions of life, focusing on external appearances or the superficial, and forget that what they have in front of them is a treasure. This lack of recognition comes from a failure to truly understand the importance of partnership. A good man is not a source of validation or someone who simply fulfills a need. He is a complement to your life, a mirror that reflects your strengths and challenges you to become a better version of yourself. When a woman does not realize the magnitude of his loyalty, his support, and his strength, she becomes careless. She might let his efforts go unnoticed, his sacrifices unappreciated, and his love unreturned. She might ignore his quiet acts of service, thinking they are trivial, but it is in those small, consistent gestures that his heart is shown. He may not always say how he feels, but through his actions, he communicates that his love is deep, unconditional, and enduring. But as time passes, when a woman fails to recognize and respect that depth, she runs the risk of losing the very thing that makes her life richer, more meaningful, and more stable. The things she might not value today are often the very things she will miss most when they are gone. A good man who has shown his love, commitment, and worth in countless ways will eventually stop giving if he feels that his love is not being honored, respected, or even seen. And that's when the realization hits too late. A woman loses a good man, not because he isn't good enough, but because she failed to understand the priceless gift that was right in front of her. A woman loses a good man when she doesn't appreciate or honor him in the way that he deserves. It's easy to get caught up in the daily grind of life and forget to express gratitude for the person who consistently shows up for you, who stands by you through thick and thin. But a good man is not someone you can afford to neglect or take for granted. His love, his effort, his dedication are gifts that deserve recognition. When a woman fails to honor the man she's with, she overlooks the very qualities that make him exceptional. It's not just about remembering his birthday or sending a thank you message now and then. It's about acknowledging the value he brings to her life every single day. A good man's commitment is not to be viewed as a convenience or a guarantee. He chooses to be with you, to invest in the relationship, to be present in ways that many others would shy away from. And when a woman does not recognize the depth of his character, when she takes his efforts for granted, she begins to lose him. The constant presence of love and care can sometimes blur into the background, and she may forget to pause, reflect, and truly appreciate what he is doing for her. A good man will show you his worth in the way he treats you, in the respect he gives you, and in the loyalty he remains steadfast to. But if a woman does not consciously honor this, if she doesn't reflect on the sacrifices he makes or the quiet strength he offers, she creates a space where he can no longer feel seen or valued. A woman may also fail to show appreciation when she becomes too focused on what she doesn't have or what she wants him to be, rather than accepting and honoring who he is. A good man, one who truly loves, will offer his best version of himself to the relationship. But if he constantly feels as though he is not good enough or that his efforts are falling short, it begins to erode the very foundation of the relationship. This is not about perfection, it's about respect and acknowledgement. When a woman continually demands more from him emotionally, financially, or otherwise without showing appreciation for what he already provides, she sets up an environment where he feels unappreciated and undervalued. She might also forget to honor him in the way he needs. It's easy to believe that gestures of love and affection are one size fits all, but they are not. A good man does not require grandiose acts of love, but simple, consistent appreciation. When a woman understands his love language, whether it's words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, or physical affection, and nurtures that, she affirms his value in ways that go beyond surface level compliments. Honor is not just about saying the right words, it's about embodying respect in every action, every interaction, and every decision. A woman who fails to honor and appreciate the good man in her life will ultimately push him away, even if it's not intentional. He may begin to feel as though his presence is invisible, that his sacrifices go unnoticed, and that his love is unreciprocated. And no matter how much he may love her, he will reach a point where he must protect his own heart. A man who is continually overlooked, taken for granted, or disrespected will eventually choose to walk away, not out of bitterness, but out of a deep sense of self-worth. He knows that a relationship is built on mutual respect, and without that, it becomes a one-sided effort. The loss is never because he didn't love enough, it's because she didn't honor him enough. A woman loses a good man when she fails to understand that a man's love is not just about surface-level attraction or fleeting moments of romance, but about the deeper connection that grows from mutual respect, trust, and admiration. While physical beauty and charm can initially draw a man in, it is the strength of her character that will hold him close. A good man sees beyond the exterior and looks for substance in the woman he is with. He seeks a partner who values him for who he is on the inside, who appreciates his qualities beyond his actions or what he can provide. When a woman fails to recognize the importance of her own character, she may focus too much on external factors, believing that beauty, status, or so superficial traits are enough to keep a good man interested. The problem lies in the misconception that love is merely about attraction or the ability to please him in temporary ways. A good man doesn't need his partner to simply mirror society's standards of what's beautiful or desirable. He wants a woman who shows integrity, honesty, and authenticity. He desires a partner who understands the value of emotional intelligence, kindness, and inner strength. A woman who is only focused on her looks or how she is perceived on the outside may struggle to connect with him on a deeper level. She may miss the mark by not recognizing that true attraction is born from a shared sense of values, a deep connection of hearts, and an unwavering partnership in life's journey. When a woman focuses too much on appearance or on fitting into a mold of societal expectations, she can inadvertently undermine the very qualities that a good man cherishes. A man doesn't want someone who is constantly striving for perfection, pretending to be something she's not, or wearing a mask to please him. What he wants is a woman who is secure in herself, who accepts her flaws, and who is willing to be vulnerable and open with him. A woman who understands her own worth and embraces her authentic self will attract and keep the attention of a good man because she offers him something deeper than external beauty. She offers him a real connection, a sense of peace, and a partnership rooted in truth. Furthermore, the failure to recognize the importance of character often leads to a lack of emotional maturity. A woman who cannot handle challenges with grace, who isn't willing to work through conflicts, or who gets caught up in petty grievances, will struggle to maintain a relationship with a good man. A man who values integrity and stability will not be satisfied by shallow interactions or by constantly trying to manage the emotional roller coaster of someone who is not grounded. The emotional depth and maturity a woman brings to a relationship are just as important as how she looks or how much she can do for him. A good man seeks someone who can stand by his side in the face of adversity, someone who will not crumble when life gets tough, but will meet challenges with strength, resilience, and wisdom. A woman loses a good man when communication and trust begin to deteriorate, as these are the foundational pillars of any successful relationship. Communication is not just about exchanging words, it is about truly understanding each other's feelings, needs, and desires. It is about being open, transparent, and vulnerable enough to share what is in your heart and allowing your partner the same space to do the same. A good man wants to be heard, to be understood, and to know that his thoughts, feelings, and experiences matter to the woman he loves. However, when communication breaks down, misunderstandings begin to take root and a sense of distance starts to form. A woman may fail to recognize how vital communication is, not just in addressing problems, but in everyday moments of connection. It's the simple conversations, the checking in, the asking how his day went, the sharing of small joys and frustrations. When these moments are neglected, the gap between two people grows wider. A good man begins to feel like he is being shut out or dismissed, as if his voice is not important in the relationship. This can lead to him feeling isolated or unimportant, and over time he may withdraw. Without the flow of healthy communication, the relationship starts to erode because no matter how much love there is, if it is not expressed or received in a way that nurtures the relationship, it will not survive. Alongside communication, trust is an essential element that holds a relationship together. A good man needs to trust that his partner has his best interests at heart, that she will not betray his confidence or undermine the foundation they've built. Trust is not just about loyalty in the romantic sense, but about emotional safety. It's about knowing that when life gets tough, when mistakes are made, when vulnerabilities are exposed, the other person will not use those things against you. Trust means believing in each other's word, in each other's actions, and in each other's character. But when trust is broken, whether through lies, secrecy, or betrayal, a good man will find it difficult to stay in the relationship because trust is a hard thing to rebuild once it's been damaged. If a woman's actions consistently create doubt or uncertainty in the relationship, it will chip away at the trust a man has placed in her. If she hides things, withholds information, or reacts defensively when he expresses concerns, it creates a pattern that slowly erodes the sense of security between them. A good man wants to feel safe in the relationship, to know that his partner is not only truthful but also supportive. He wants to know that he can trust her with his heart, his dreams, and his fears. But when trust is compromised, it's not just the immediate issues that cause harm, it's the cumulative effect of the repeated instances where honesty and openness were absent. Over time, the emotional disconnection caused by a lack of communication and trust will push a good man away. He may start to question the intentions behind her actions, to wonder if she truly values him or the relationship. As these doubts grow, so does the emotional distance between them. He might begin to look for answers outside the relationship, seeking reassurance or comfort from people or activities that temporarily fill the void left by the absence of trust and communication. While he may not always show it, the damage is being done. And a good man who values integrity and emotional transparency will eventually choose to walk away rather than continue to invest in a relationship that no longer feels emotionally safe. For a woman, understanding the importance of communication and trust is crucial. Without these elements, the relationship cannot thrive. It's easy to assume that a relationship will continue to flourish on love alone, but love requires the nourishing foundation of open, honest communication and unwavering trust. Without these, even the deepest love will fade into resentment, distance, and ultimately loss. When a woman fails to create and nurture this safe space of communication and trust, she risks losing the very thing that is most important to a good man, the emotional security that allows him to be vulnerable, to love deeply, and to build a future together. A woman loses a good man when she becomes emotionally unavailable or unwilling to meet him where he is emotionally. A good man values emotional connection, and one of the most profound ways a woman can show him she cares is by being present with him emotionally. But when a woman is emotionally unavailable, whether because of past baggage, fear of vulnerability, or simply being too caught up in her own world, she creates a disconnect that a good man will eventually struggle to overcome. The absence of emotional availability can manifest in many ways: a lack of empathy when he opens up, emotional coldness when he seeks comfort, or even an inability to recognize when he needs reassurance. A good man wants to feel understood, supported, and loved, not just through actions, but through emotional intimacy. Emotional availability is about being present for him in the moments when he needs to share something important, when he feels vulnerable, or when he's going through a difficult time. It's about offering comfort and solace and being there to listen without judgment or distraction. But if a woman is consistently emotionally distant, if she's unable to give him the attention and care he needs in those critical moments, the emotional bond between them starts to unravel. A good man will begin to feel isolated in the relationship, like he is carrying his burdens alone. The inability to connect emotionally also means that a woman may miss the subtle signs of emotional distress that a man might express. A good man doesn't always openly share his struggles. Many times, he will try to protect his partner from his burdens, trying to shield her from the pain he's experiencing. But this doesn't mean he doesn't need emotional support. If a woman fails to notice his silent cries for help, his attempts to share his feelings, or his need for affection, she fails to meet him where he is emotionally. Over time, this emotional neglect can lead to a sense of abandonment on his part, as he feels that his needs are not being met and that he is not seen for who he truly is: someone who needs love, understanding, and connection just as much as anyone else. Emotional availability also goes hand in hand with emotional maturity. A woman who struggles with her own emotional issues, whether they are insecurities, unresolved past trauma, or emotional immaturity, can inadvertently create walls in the relationship. Instead of approaching challenges with understanding and compromise, she may become defensive or retreat into herself, making it difficult for the relationship to evolve. A good man wants to be with someone who can engage in difficult conversations without shutting down or avoiding issues. He wants a partner who is capable of growing and evolving emotionally, just as he strives to grow. But when emotional barriers exist, when communication becomes stifled by emotional defenses, the relationship begins to stagnate. A good man is naturally drawn to someone who makes him feel like he is seen, heard, and understood. But when a woman is emotionally unavailable, he begins to question whether he is truly valued. Emotional availability isn't just about responding when it's convenient, but about being attuned to his emotional needs all the time, whether things are going well or when challenges arise. A man who feels emotionally neglected may not immediately voice his frustrations, but he will begin to pull away. He might start to withdraw, emotionally distancing himself, not out of a lack of love, but because he feels like he is pouring his heart into a relationship that doesn't reciprocate. As time goes on, the distance grows. The emotional void created by a lack of availability becomes harder to ignore. A good man who is seeking a deep emotional connection will start to feel like he's in a relationship where he is only going through the motions. He may even begin to question the longevity of the relationship, as he recognizes that emotional fulfillment is something that has been absent for too long. And while he may love her deeply, he will not stay in a relationship that continues to drain him emotionally. A good man deserves a partner who can meet him emotionally, who can be vulnerable and open, and who can show up for him in ways that matter. Without this emotional connection, the relationship starts to feel like a one-sided effort, and a good man will eventually choose to walk away, realizing that he needs emotional fulfillment to thrive in love, just as much as he needs physical or intellectual connection. A woman loses a good man when she continuously fails to appreciate and honor the value he brings to her life. A good man, in his essence, is a gift. He offers loyalty, stability, kindness, and a deep sense of care for his partner. However, if a woman does not acknowledge or appreciate these qualities, the man will begin to feel unimportant or even undervalued. Gratitude and appreciation are powerful forces in relationships. When a good man sees that his efforts, his sacrifices, and his love go unrecognized, he begins to question the purpose of his commitment. He will wonder if his actions matter, if his contributions are truly valued, and if the relationship is genuinely reciprocal. The failure to appreciate a good man can manifest in many ways: taking him for granted, belittling his efforts, or simply not showing gratitude for the things he does. Whether it's the small, everyday acts of care like making sure she's safe, supporting her goals, or providing emotional strength, or the big transformative actions he takes to build a future together, if these things are not acknowledged, the emotional toll it takes on him is heavy. A good man does not seek constant praise, but he does seek recognition for his sincerity and his love. Without appreciation, a sense of resentment starts to grow, and that resentment over time can be a silent but powerful force that drives him away. Moreover, the lack of appreciation erodes the foundation of respect in the relationship. Respect is the bedrock of any meaningful partnership, and when a woman stops showing respect for her partner's efforts, his feelings, and his contributions, she signals that she does not truly value him as a person or as a partner. It's easy to take someone for granted when they have been reliable, consistent, and always there for you, but doing so will lead to the erosion of trust and affection. A good man, no matter how much he loves, cannot thrive in a relationship where his worth is not acknowledged. He may give endlessly, but if his giving is met with disregard or ingratitude, he will begin to feel emotionally drained and unappreciated. Appreciation is not just about saying thank you for the things he does, but also about acknowledging the effort behind those actions. It's about recognizing the sacrifices he makes and understanding the emotional labor involved in the relationship. A good man often goes above and beyond to provide, protect, and nurture. But if this effort is met with indifference, it creates an emotional void that neither he nor the relationship can sustain. He may start to internalize the idea that his actions don't matter, which over time can lead him to disengage from the relationship emotionally. It's not that he doesn't care, but when he is constantly giving without receiving appreciation, he begins to lose the emotional energy to continue giving. In a relationship, the give and take must be mutual. A good man wants to feel that his efforts are not one-sided, that his emotional investments are reflected in the way his partner values him. When a woman fails to recognize his worth, it's not only a loss for him, but a loss for the relationship as a whole. A relationship cannot thrive on one person's commitment alone. Both partners must show care, gratitude, and recognition for each other's contributions, both big and small. Furthermore, a woman who does not appreciate the good man she has will likely take his presence for granted until it is too late. When he withdraws or decides to leave, she may realize the magnitude of her failure to honor his worth. But by then, the damage has already been done. A good man who has given his best will not stay where he feels unseen, unloved, or unappreciated. He will move on, knowing that his value deserves to be acknowledged and that his presence in a relationship should bring mutual fulfillment, respect, and love. The absence of appreciation does not just hurt the good man, it slowly destroys the relationship. If a woman does not understand the importance of showing appreciation, of recognizing and honoring the man who stands by her side, she risks losing a partner who has always given everything for her. A good man wants a woman who values his contributions, who sees the depth of his love, and who acknowledges the effort he puts into creating a future with her. Without appreciation, he will feel his emotional and physical energy depleting, and ultimately he will decide to walk away, knowing that his value is too precious to be taken for granted. Ultimately, a good man does not want to lose the person he loves, but he also needs to know that he is not carrying the weight of her personal growth on his shoulders. When a woman focuses on nurturing herself mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, she becomes a more balanced partner. A woman who takes the time to invest in herself, to build her own confidence, and to pursue her dreams becomes someone who can love more deeply, who can give more freely, and who can share in the journey of life with her partner in a meaningful way. A good man recognizes the value of such a woman, and it is this commitment to growth that will keep him beside her through life's ups and downs. A woman loses a good man when she does not trust him or the relationship. Trust is the bedrock of any successful relationship, and without it, no matter how much love or effort is invested, the connection begins to crumble. Trust isn't something that is easily built, but once it is broken, it is extremely difficult to rebuild. A good man who is sincere, loving, and committed cannot thrive in a relationship where there is constant doubt or suspicion. When a woman fails to trust her partner, it erodes the foundation of the relationship and creates an environment of insecurity and anxiety. A good man wants to be trusted. He wants to know that his intentions, his words, and his actions are taken at face value without the need for constant questioning or doubt. Trust is also linked to respect. When a woman doesn't trust her partner, she shows a lack of respect for his integrity and character. A good man wants to feel that his efforts, his love, and his commitment are taken seriously. He doesn't want to feel like he has to constantly justify his actions or prove his loyalty. Without trust, a woman may begin to scrutinize every small detail, interpreting even the most innocent of actions as a sign of betrayal. This shows a lack of respect for the trust he has already placed in the relationship, and over time, it builds a wall of resentment. Additionally, a woman who does not trust her partner may also struggle to take accountability for her own actions within the relationship. She may project her own feelings of guilt or fear onto him, accusing him of things she herself fears or struggles with. This not only distorts the reality of the situation, but also creates an unhealthy dynamic where both partners feel trapped in a cycle of defensiveness and blame. A good man wants to be with a woman who can take responsibility for her own feelings and actions, who is self-aware and confident enough to trust both herself and him. Without that trust, it becomes impossible to create a partnership where both individuals feel equal, valued, and respected. The good man who finds himself in a relationship devoid of trust will eventually reach a point where he decides he cannot continue. He may give everything he has to prove his loyalty and commitment, but the absence of trust leaves him feeling unsupported and unappreciated. He will begin to question whether this relationship is truly worth his time and emotional energy. A good man who is truly invested in the relationship cannot continue to pour his heart into something where there is no belief in his intentions or character. A woman loses a good man when she fails to communicate effectively. Communication is the lifeblood of any relationship, and without it, misunderstandings, resentment, and emotional disconnection start to build up. A good man values open, honest, and respectful communication. He doesn't want to guess what his partner is thinking, nor does he want to feel as though his voice isn't heard. A woman who struggles with communicating her needs, feelings, or concerns may unintentionally push her partner away, leaving him confused, frustrated, or emotionally distant. Additionally, communication is not just about talking, it's also about listening. A good man values a woman who listens to him, who is present in the moment, and who genuinely cares about understanding his thoughts and feelings. When a woman isn't an active listener, or when she brushes off her partner's concerns, it signals to him that his emotions and needs are not valued. A good man wants to feel heard, respected, and understood. If a woman does not make the effort to actively listen to him, he will start to feel as though his voice does not matter. He may eventually stop sharing his thoughts and feelings, retreating inwardly and becoming emotionally unavailable. A good man doesn't need constant praise, but he does want to feel valued and appreciated for his efforts. When a woman fails to communicate her gratitude or fails to acknowledge his contributions to the relationship, it can create a sense of neglect. A good man will often give without expecting anything in return, but when his efforts go unnoticed, it can lead to feelings of being unappreciated. Over time, this lack of acknowledgement can cause him to question whether his emotional investment is worth it. Relationships require reciprocity, and a good man will feel disheartened if he is always giving but never receiving emotional recognition. On the flip side, communication also involves being honest, even when the truth is uncomfortable. A woman who avoids difficult conversations or suppresses her feelings for the sake of avoiding conflict is doing both herself and her partner a disservice. A good man values a woman who can be honest with him, who is willing to speak the truth, even when it's hard. This does not mean being hurtful, but it means being direct and transparent. When issues are left unspoken, they fester beneath the surface, and over time, they can erode the connection between two people. A good man will appreciate a woman who is strong enough to express her feelings, whether they are positive or negative, because he knows that this kind of openness creates a solid foundation for the relationship. Furthermore, poor communication can create feelings of isolation. A good man does not want to feel like he is in the dark about his partner's emotions or thoughts. If a woman consistently shuts down or fails to communicate effectively, it can make her partner feel disconnected, as if they are living in separate worlds. This emotional isolation can be just as painful as physical distance, and it will eventually drive a wedge between the two. A good man who values emotional intimacy will begin to question the viability of a relationship where communication is lacking. If his attempts to connect are met with silence or evasiveness, he may start to emotionally detach, recognizing that without communication, the relationship cannot flourish. In the end, poor communication is a silent killer in relationships. A woman who fails to communicate effectively with her partner not only deprives herself of emotional connection, but she also pushes away the very man who wants to be there for her. A good man wants to be understood, respected, and valued. When communication breaks down, everything else begins to unravel. It's easy to take a partner's love for granted, especially if they are dependable and consistent in their actions. A good man, however, needs his value to be acknowledged, not just for the big gestures, but also for the everyday acts of kindness and support. A woman who overlooks the small, everyday sacrifices he makes will gradually create an emotional distance between them. A good man doesn't require lavish displays of appreciation, but simple acknowledgement of his care, support, and love can make all the difference. The absence of this appreciation can create a slow erosion of his enthusiasm to give, to love, and to invest in the relationship. He will stop making the extra effort when appreciation is missing with resentment or neglect. A woman who fails to appreciate the man she has in front of her may begin to focus on his flaws, real or imagined, instead of recognizing his strengths. She may start to take issue with things that once seemed insignificant. This magnification of his faults occurs because the positive things he brings to the relationship are not being celebrated. A good man may begin to feel like he is always under criticism and never able to meet the expectations placed on him. Over time, this constant undervaluation chips away at his self-esteem, and he starts to lose the desire to put forth the effort that he once did. Another aspect of failing to appreciate a good man is that it leads to the belief that the relationship doesn't matter as much as it should. When a woman fails to show appreciation, it can feel like the relationship is just another part of her routine, something that's expected to work on autopilot. However, relationships are not machines that run on their own. They require effort, love, and attention. A good man will eventually sense that his efforts are not being returned or valued, and he will start to feel disconnected from the relationship. Over time, this emotional disconnection builds to a point where the good man may start to question his future in the relationship. If appreciation is continually lacking, he may come to the painful realization that no matter how much love and energy he pours into the partnership, he will never receive what he needs in return: emotional acknowledgement, respect, and gratitude. A good man also wants to feel seen for who he is beyond his actions. A woman who values him appreciates not just what he does for her, but who he is as a person. A good man desires recognition for his individuality, his dreams, his goals, and his inner thoughts. If he feels as though he is only appreciated for what he provides or does, he may start to feel objectified rather than loved and understood. True appreciation involves seeing your partner for their whole self, acknowledging the richness of their character and the depth of their heart. When a woman doesn't take the time to deeply appreciate the man she's with, his journey, his vulnerabilities, his desires, she risks losing him. A good man longs to feel emotionally seen and understood, and this level of appreciation goes beyond just the surface level. Moreover, lack of appreciation also fosters a sense of imbalance in the relationship. When one partner, typically the woman, consistently fails to recognize the effort of the other, the good man begins to feel like the relationship is one-sided. He will feel as though he is the one always giving, always trying, while the other person remains passive, waiting for things to happen without offering anything in return. This imbalance creates a sense of emotional depletion for the good man, and over time, he will stop investing his energy into a relationship where he feels emotionally drained and underappreciated. He might start to withdraw both physically and emotionally because he can no longer continue pouring from an empty cup. Appreciation is the glue that holds the connection together in a relationship. Without it, love and respect begin to dissipate, and the good man who was once giving his all will eventually stop trying. A good man needs to feel valued, seen, and loved, not just for what he does, but for who he is. If he is continually overlooked, he will eventually seek out a space where his value is acknowledged, where his efforts are recognized, and where he can be truly appreciated. In conclusion, A woman loses a good man when she fails to recognize and appreciate his true value. Appreciation is the lifeblood of any relationship, and without it, even the strongest bond will begin to erode. A good man pours his heart and soul into a relationship, offering his best, not just for the sake of the partnership, but because of his genuine love and commitment. However, when his efforts go unrecognized, when his sacrifices are taken for granted, and when his worth is overlooked, he begins to feel undervalued. Over time, this emotional disconnect creates a distance that can't be easily bridged. A good man needs not just to be loved, but to be seen, heard, and appreciated for who he is, not just what he does. For a relationship to thrive, both partners must nurture it with mutual respect, gratitude, and understanding. If a woman fails to appreciate the good man in her life, she risks losing someone who could have been her greatest partner. The key is recognizing his worth every day, honoring his presence, and celebrating the unique qualities he brings to the relationship. Only then can both individuals grow together in love, respect, and mutual admiration. A woman loses a good man when she fails to nurture her own personal growth and self-worth. A good man is drawn to a woman who knows who she is, who has a strong sense of self, and who is committed to her own personal evolution. Personal growth is not just about career achievements or outward success. It's about emotional maturity, self-awareness, and the capacity to love oneself. A woman who neglects her own growth can unintentionally create a relationship dynamic where her own insecurities, fears, and lack of self-confidence begin to affect her connection with her partner. A good man will always want to support his partner's growth, but he cannot carry the burden of helping her build herself up if she isn't committed to doing so herself. When a woman's sense of self-worth is fragile or dependent on external validation, it creates a constant need for reassurance and affirmation from others, particularly from her partner. This can create an emotionally exhausting dynamic where the good man is always required to fill the emotional gaps and boost her confidence, leaving him drained and overburdened. A relationship where one partner is consistently reliant on the other for validation creates an imbalance that is unsustainable in the long run. A good man will begin to feel overwhelmed by the pressure of constantly having to lift his partner's spirit, especially when it becomes clear that no amount of reassurance will be enough to fill the void she feels within herself. Self-worth is built on the foundation of knowing one's value independent of external factors. A woman who has strong self-esteem is not afraid to embrace her uniqueness, to set boundaries, and to pursue her own passions. She doesn't seek constant external approval, and her emotional state doesn't hinge solely on how her partner treats her. When she prioritizes her own growth and self-love, she is able to show up as a fully realized, confident partner who brings a sense of balance to the relationship. A good man values this independence, and he wants to be with a woman who is secure in herself, who is not afraid to challenge herself, and who encourages him to do the same. On the other hand, a woman who isn't actively working on her personal growth may find herself stagnating in a relationship. She may grow dependent on her partner for all of her emotional needs, and this dynamic can result in a relationship that feels more like a crutch than a partnership. A good man who is continuously striving for his own growth will begin to feel suffocated or held back by a partner who doesn't share the same drive for self-improvement. He will look for someone who can inspire him, someone who challenges him to become the best version of himself, not someone who leans on him for every emotional need. A good man doesn't want to be seen as a savior, but as an equal partner who is growing alongside someone who also values their own evolution. In relationships, it is essential for both individuals to evolve together, to push each other to be better versions of themselves, and to support each other's personal journeys. When a woman neglects her own development, she inadvertently places the weight of her emotional fulfillment solely on her partner's shoulders. A good man will continue to offer support, but eventually he will realize that this one-sided effort is exhausting. Relationships thrive on mutual growth, and when both partners are committed to becoming the best versions of themselves, they bring out the best in each other. But when one partner is stagnant, it can create an emotional and intellectual gap that a good man will eventually recognize. He needs a partner who is not just a reflection of his dreams and goals, but someone who has her own passions, aspirations, and sense of direction. Furthermore, a lack of personal growth can also lead to the development of unhealthy patterns in the relationship. A woman who hasn't done the inner work may struggle with things like jealousy, insecurity, or a need for constant validation, which can lead to emotional manipulation or controlling behaviors. This can drain a good man's energy, leaving him questioning the health of the relationship. A good man will always try to be supportive, but he cannot continually invest in a relationship where personal growth is being neglected. He wants a woman who can stand on her own feet, who can look in the mirror and see someone worthy, and who isn't afraid to take responsibility for her own emotional well-being. In a healthy relationship, trust is not just about believing in the other person's loyalty or commitment, but also about believing in their character and their judgment. When trust is lacking, a woman may begin to second-guess her partner's actions or motives, interpreting innocent situations with suspicion. She may question his decisions, his words, or even the smallest gestures. Over time, this can lead to a pattern where the good man feels misunderstood, disrespected, and emotionally isolated. A good man needs to know that his partner believes in him, that she believes in the relationship they are building together. Without that belief, the emotional connection begins to fray. The absence of trust also creates a toxic cycle of insecurity where the woman constantly looks for evidence to confirm her doubts, but this search only magnifies the very fears that she holds. She may begin to create problems that didn't exist, causing unnecessary conflict. This pattern can quickly spiral, with her projecting her own fears and insecurities onto him, which in turn makes him feel as though he cannot do anything right. A good man, no matter how strong he is, will start to feel demoralized when he is faced with constant accusations or doubts about his intentions. Even if he is fully loyal and committed, the strain of constantly having to prove his integrity can push him away. Moreover, a lack of trust also creates emotional distance. A good man will stop sharing his thoughts, his feelings, and his dreams with a partner who doesn't trust him because he feels like his every word will be scrutinized or misinterpreted. Emotional intimacy thrives when both partners are open, vulnerable, and honest with each other. But when trust is absent, those walls begin to go up. A good man will start holding back parts of himself, guarding his emotions and retreating inwardly. This creates a divide in the relationship, and over time, that divide becomes harder to close. A relationship cannot thrive in an environment where one partner feels as though they are constantly being watched, judged, or doubted. Ultimately, trust is a mutual exchange, and without it, a relationship will never reach its fullest potential. A good man wants to build something real, something lasting, but he cannot do that alone. He needs a partner who believes in him, who trusts that his actions are sincere, and who has faith in the future they are creating together. When trust is broken, it's not just the emotional connection that is harmed, but the very foundation of the relationship itself. A good man deserves a woman who will stand by his side, not questioning his loyalty, but instead supporting him and believing in the partnership they've committed to. Without trust, the good man will ultimately move on, recognizing that a relationship built on doubt and suspicion cannot survive. When a woman doesn't express her emotions or thoughts clearly, it creates a barrier between her and her partner. A good man will try to understand and support her, but when communication is poor, it becomes impossible for him to provide the right kind of support. He may feel like he is walking on eggshells, unsure of how to approach her or what to say. He may try to initiate conversations, but if the responses he gets are vague, dismissive, or non-existent, it can feel like he's fighting a losing battle. Eventually, a good man will begin to feel disconnected and will stop trying to engage in meaningful conversations. He might begin to emotionally withdraw because he cannot continue to invest in a relationship where communication is not a priority. A lack of communication also leads to the development of assumptions, which are often inaccurate and damaging. When things are left unsaid, both partners start to fill in the blanks with their own interpretations. A good man may interpret his partner's silence or non-responsiveness as indifference or frustration, even if that is not the case. Similarly, a woman may assume that her partner is uninterested or emotionally unavailable when he doesn't pick up on her unspoken cues. These assumptions lead to misunderstandings that escalate over time, and what was once a small issue can quickly grow into a significant problem. In the absence of healthy communication, both partners start to harbor negative feelings that are left unaddressed, and resentment begins to build. In relationships, emotional vulnerability is a key component of strong communication. A good man is not afraid to be vulnerable with the right partner, but he needs to feel safe to do so. If a woman shuts down or becomes defensive when he opens up about his emotions, it creates a sense of emotional danger, making him less likely to express himself in the future. A woman who communicates effectively will create a safe space for vulnerability where both partners can share their true feelings without fear of judgment or retaliation. This level of trust and openness strengthens the bond between two people and nurtures a deep, lasting connection. Lastly, communication is vital in resolving conflicts. Every relationship faces challenges, but it is how those challenges are communicated and dealt with that makes the difference. A woman who avoids conflict or refuses to engage in meaningful discussions about issues in the relationship will leave problems unresolved. This inability to confront and address issues can lead to a buildup of resentment and frustration. A good man will appreciate a partner who can face conflicts head-on with maturity and understanding. He values a woman who is not afraid to address problems directly and work together towards a solution rather than letting them fester. A woman loses a good man when she fails to appreciate his value. A good man is a rare treasure, and too often people take the ones they love for granted, thinking they will always be there. This lack of appreciation, however, leads to gradual erosion in the relationship. A good man invests his time, energy, and emotions into a partnership, and it's essential that his efforts are recognized and valued. When a woman does not acknowledge or appreciate the sacrifices, care, and dedication a good man shows, it can lead him to feel undervalued and taken for granted. No matter how strong a man's commitment is, he too needs recognition and appreciation for his contributions. If his worth is overlooked, he may begin to question his place in the relationship, wondering if his efforts are even making a difference. Additionally, failing to appreciate a good man can make him feel as though he is not valued for the qualities that make him special. Many good men carry qualities that are rare and precious: honesty, integrity, loyalty, selflessness, and emotional maturity. These traits may be taken for granted when they are constant, but they are the foundation of a stable, lasting relationship. A woman who does not recognize the depth of his character and the strength of his commitment may eventually lose him to someone who does. A good man wants to feel that his qualities are not just noticed but also celebrated. When his character is unappreciated, he begins to feel disrespected, which will weaken the emotional bond between him and his partner. On the flip side, a woman who values her partner will also be motivated to show gratitude and appreciation for the love and commitment he brings. A good man is constantly giving his best, but when he is met with a lack of appreciation, it becomes difficult for him to continue giving without any emotional return. Acknowledging a good man's value fuels his motivation to continue to be the best partner he can be. He will feel more invested, more willing to give, and more eager to nurture the relationship. Appreciation in a relationship creates a positive feedback loop. When one partner feels appreciated, they are more likely to reciprocate that appreciation, strengthening the bond between both people. Imagine the world is still, the sun has not yet risen, and the air is filled with a profound silence. In this sacred time between 3 and 5 a.m., a unique opportunity arises, a time when the distractions of the day are absent and the whispers of your heart can be heard more clearly than ever. This is a time for revelation, a time for transformation, a time for you to connect with the divine purpose. Imagine the world is still, the sun has not yet risen, and the air is filled with a profound silence. In this sacred time between 3 and 5 a.m., a unique opportunity arises, a time when the distractions of the day are absent and the whispers of your heart can be heard more clearly than ever. This is a time for revelation, a time for transformation, a time for you to connect with the divine purpose that God has placed within you. Next, it's a time for prayer and connection with God. Many people underestimate the power of early morning prayer. When you rise before the dawn, you set the tone for your entire day. You position yourself to receive divine guidance and wisdom. Speak to God about your fears, your hopes, your desires. In those intimate conversations, He will provide the strength you need to overcome obstacles and the courage to pursue your dreams with relentless passion. Remember, prayer is not just about asking, it's about listening. And in this quiet time, you can hear His voice more clearly. As the world is waking up, engage in self-reflection. Examine your life, your relationships, your goals. Are they aligned with your true purpose? Ask yourself tough questions. Are you living in a way that honors your values? Are you surrounding yourself with people who lift you higher? This time is not only for dreaming, but for deep introspection. Embrace the discomfort of honesty. Change does not come from complacency, but from confronting our realities. Use these precious hours to equip yourself with knowledge. Read a book that inspires you. Listen to a motivational message that stirs your soul, or write down your thoughts. This is the time to feed your mind with positivity and wisdom. The mind is a garden, and what you plant in it will grow. Nourish your thoughts with good seeds, and soon you will reap a harvest of greatness. Embrace the power of the early morning. It is a sacred time for growth, reflection, and divine connection. In those quiet hours, God is waiting for you to meet Him. He is waiting to reveal your potential, to ignite your passion, and to guide you on your path. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and your step begins in the stillness of the early morning. Make this a habit and watch how your life transforms. The world may still be asleep, but you will be awakening to your true self and to the abundant life that God has destined for you. In the stillness of the early morning hours, the world is enveloped in a profound silence that offers a unique opportunity for introspection and clarity. This sacred silence is not merely the absence of noise. It is a space where the chaos of daily life fades away, allowing your mind and spirit to breathe. When you wake up between 3 and 5 a.m., you find yourself in a moment where distractions are at a minimum. The hustle and bustle that characterizes the day have not yet begun, and the air is filled with a sense of possibility. In this serene environment, you can fully engage with your thoughts and feelings. It is a time to listen to the whispers of your heart, where the pressures of external expectations and the demands of others do not intrude. This is your time to connect with your inner self, to reflect on your values, your purpose, and the dreams that lie within you. In these quiet moments, you can sift through the noise of everyday life and uncover the truths that often go unrecognized. Moreover, this silence is an invitation to be still and know that God is present. The Bible tells us that in our stillness, we can encounter the divine. When the world is asleep, God's voice becomes more audible. He speaks in the quiet moments, guiding us, offering wisdom, and providing insights that may be lost in the clamor of the day. Embrace this stillness as a sacred time of communion with God, where prayer becomes more intimate and revelations about your life become clearer. As you sit in this tranquil space, take a deep breath and allow yourself to feel the weight of the day ahead lift. This silence prepares your mind for focus and intention. It allows you to set the stage for creativity and innovation. Many of the world's greatest ideas and inspirations are birthed in moments of solitude, where the mind is free to wander and explore. This early morning stillness becomes a fertile ground for your thoughts to bloom. When you commit to rising during these hours, you cultivate a habit that empowers you. You learn to appreciate the beauty of the quiet, transforming it into a sanctuary where your dreams can take root. Embrace the power of this sacred silence and let it guide you toward greater clarity, purpose, and connection with your divine potential. The early morning is a gift, and it is within this gift that you will discover the strength to pursue the life that God has destined for you. God has placed specific desires within each of us, and it is during this sacred time that we can uncover them. Take a moment to recall your childhood dreams, the passions that ignited your heart. Often, the hustle and bustle of life dulls our connection to these dreams, but in the early morning stillness, they can be revived. Visualize yourself achieving those dreams and allow the feelings of excitement and fulfillment to wash over you. This is not just daydreaming, it is a powerful practice of visualization that aligns your mind with your true purpose. As you reflect on your dreams, remember that they are God's way of communicating His plans for your life. He has endowed you with gifts, talents, and a unique purpose, and your dreams are a reflection of those divine endowments. The Bible tells us that God has plans to prosper us, to give us hope and a future. When you dream, you are tapping into that divine potential, and your aspirations are the manifestations of the visions God has for you. Use this time to write down your dreams. There is power in putting pen to paper, for it solidifies your intentions and makes them tangible. Document your aspirations, big and small, and create a vision board that visually represents your goals. When you see your dreams laid out before you, they become more attainable. They shift from mere thoughts to actionable steps that you can take. Moreover, dreaming in the early hours is not just about personal ambitions. It is also about envisioning how you can serve others and fulfill your purpose in a greater context. Consider how your dreams can impact your community, your family, and the world at large. This broader perspective adds depth to your aspirations and aligns them with the greater good. As the dawn approaches, hold on to these dreams with conviction. They are not just fleeting thoughts, but rather divine whispers guiding you toward your destiny. Embrace them, nurture them, and let them fuel your passion as you move into the day. This early morning reflection on your dreams is not just a practice, it is a spiritual exercise that prepares your heart and mind for the extraordinary life that God has intended for you. Each dawn brings a new opportunity to rise and pursue the dreams that God has placed in your heart. So seize it and step boldly into your future. As the world sleeps around you, the early morning hours between 3 and 5 a.m. present a sacred opportunity to engage in deep, heartfelt prayer. This is a time when you can connect with God in an intimate and profound way, laying the foundation for your day ahead. In the quiet of the morning, you have the space to approach the throne of grace with reverence and expectation, knowing that God is listening. Prayer is more than just a routine or a ritual. It is a conversation, a dialogue between you and your Creator. In these still moments, take time to express your gratitude for the blessings in your life. Gratitude shifts your perspective and opens your heart to receive more. As you reflect on what you are thankful for, you create an atmosphere of praise, inviting God's presence into your space. Remember, a grateful heart is a magnet for miracles. After expressing your gratitude, present your needs, desires, and concerns to God. Be open and honest. Share your fears, your doubts, and the challenges that weigh heavily on your heart. God knows your struggles, but He longs for you to bring them to Him. In these moments of vulnerability, you can find comfort and strength, knowing that you are not alone. God is your refuge and strength, an ever-present help in times of trouble. But prayer is not just about asking for things, it is also about listening. In the quietness of the early morning, you create a space to hear God's voice. Take time to sit in silence and meditate, allowing His wisdom to penetrate your thoughts. Often we rush through our prayers, eager to get to the amen, but true communication with God requires us to be still and attentive. God speaks to us in whispers, and in the silence, you can hear His guidance and direction for your life. Use this time to seek clarity on your purpose. Ask God to reveal the path He has laid out for you. Seek wisdom for the decisions you must make and the challenges you will face. The answers may not come immediately, but trust that God is working in your life, orchestrating events behind the scenes. In these moments of early morning prayer, you are aligning yourself with divine purpose, setting the tone for a day filled with intention and focus. Additionally, intercede for others during this sacred time. Lift up the people in your life, family, friends, colleagues, those who may be struggling or in need of prayer. Intercession is a powerful act of love that connects you with others, and it opens the door for God's grace to flow into their lives. Remember, when you pray for others, you are also blessed, for God honors the heart that seeks to uplift and support those around them. As dawn approaches and the world begins to stir, carry the peace and guidance of your early morning prayer into your day. Let it be a reminder that you are anchored in faith, equipped to face whatever challenges may come your way. Your connection with God in these early hours not only strengthens your spirit, but also illuminates your path, guiding you toward your divine destiny. Embrace this sacred time of prayer as a transformative experience that empowers you to live boldly and authentically, reflecting the love and purpose that God has instilled within you. The early morning hours, a sacred window of time, also present a unique opportunity for deep introspection. In this stillness, you can engage in meaningful self-reflection, an essential practice for understanding your life's journey. As you rise before the world awakens, allow yourself to pause and take stock of your thoughts, emotions, and experiences. This is a time to assess where you are in relation to your goals and aspirations, both personally and spiritually. Start by examining your current state of mind. What thoughts occupy your mind as you enter this new day? Are they filled with hope and positivity, or are they clouded by doubt and anxiety? Self-reflection allows you to acknowledge these feelings without judgment. Embrace them, for they are part of your human experience. Understanding your emotional landscape helps you identify patterns that may be holding you back from realizing your full potential. Next, consider your life's purpose and how well you are aligned with it. Reflect on the dreams and aspirations that stir within you. Are your daily actions and decisions leading you closer to those dreams? Are you living intentionally, or have you fallen into the trap of complacency, merely going through the motions of life? This early morning reflection is your chance to recalibrate and ensure that your life is in alignment with your divine purpose. Ask yourself what changes you need to make to live more authentically, to embody the person you were created to be. This is also an opportunity to assess your relationships. Consider the people you surround yourself with and the energy they bring into your life. Are these relationships uplifting and supportive, or do they drain your spirit and hinder your growth? Being honest with yourself about the dynamics in your life is crucial. Recognize that some relationships may need to be reevaluated, allowing you to create space for those that align with your vision for the future. Moreover, use this time to confront your fears and insecurities. What are the barriers that stand in your way? Are they external, or do they stem from within? Self-reflection helps you to identify these obstacles, enabling you to develop strategies to overcome them. Remember, acknowledging your fears is the first step toward conquering them. In these quiet moments, you can gather the courage and strength needed to face challenges head-on. As you engage in this deep introspection, be kind to yourself. Recognize that personal growth is a journey, not a destination. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and remain open to the lessons that life has to offer. Each experience shapes you, molding you into the person you are meant to become. Embrace your journey with gratitude for every step, even the difficult ones, contributes to your growth. In these early morning hours, take time to write down your reflections. Journaling allows you to crystallize your thoughts and feelings, serving as a powerful tool for clarity and understanding. By putting pen to paper, you can track your growth over time, recognizing patterns and shifts in your mindset. As the dawn light begins to break, let this time of introspection prepare you for the day ahead. Carry with you the insights you've gained and let them inform your actions and decisions. This early morning practice of self-reflection is not just about looking inward, it's about empowering yourself to live a life that resonates with your true self. Embrace the lessons learned in these quiet moments and allow them to propel you toward a future that aligns with your highest calling. Each new day offers a fresh opportunity to align your heart, mind, and spirit with the purpose that God has placed within you. During the precious hours between 3 and 5 a.m., you are also given the opportunity to cultivate a spirit of gratitude. This practice is transformative and has the power to shift your perspective and elevate your mindset. Gratitude is not merely an expression of thanks, it is a profound recognition of the blessings that surround you, even in the midst of challenges. When you awaken in the early morning, take a moment to reflect on the gifts in your life. Begin by acknowledging the simple joys, the warmth of your bed, the comfort of your home, the fresh air that fills your lungs. These small, often overlooked blessings create a foundation of appreciation that can set a positive tone for your day. As you focus on what you have, rather than what you lack, your heart opens to receive more abundance. Gratitude shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance, helping you realize that you are surrounded by plenty. As you reflect on your life, consider the people who have impacted you. Think of your family, friends, mentors, and even those who have challenged you. Each person in your life has played a role in shaping who you are today. Express gratitude for their presence, their love, and the lessons they have imparted. This acknowledgement fosters deeper connections and reinforces the importance of community and support in your journey. Gratitude also extends beyond people to include the experiences that have enriched your life. Reflect on the challenges you have faced and the growth that emerged from them. Often, it is in our trials that we find our greatest strength and resilience. Thank God for those experiences, for they have equipped you with wisdom and insights that prepare you for the future. When you cultivate gratitude for your past, you position yourself to embrace the future with hope and anticipation. Moreover, this early morning practice of gratitude aligns your heart with God's intentions. The Bible reminds us that God loves a thankful heart. When you express gratitude, you invite God into your circumstances, recognizing His hand in your life. This acknowledgement of His presence nurtures your relationship with Him and deepens your faith. As you begin your day with gratitude, you create an atmosphere where blessings can flow freely. Consider starting a gratitude journal during these early hours. Write down at least 3 things you are grateful for each day. This simple practice serves as a reminder of the abundance in your life and encourages a consistent focus on positivity. On days when challenges arise, revisiting this journal can provide comfort and perspective, reminding you of the goodness that exists even amidst adversity. As the dawn begins to break and light filters into your space, let your spirit of gratitude infuse every aspect of your day. Carry this mindset with you as you engage with the world around you. When challenges arise, remember to respond with gratitude, recognizing that each obstacle is an opportunity for growth and learning. In these early morning hours, you have the chance to establish a powerful habit of gratitude. This simple yet profound practice can transform your outlook on life, allowing you to see the beauty in every moment. As you embrace this attitude of thankfulness, you will find that your heart becomes more open, your spirit more resilient, and your life more abundant. Gratitude is a powerful force that draws you closer to the divine and aligns you with the abundant life that God has designed for you. Embrace it wholeheartedly and watch as your life begins to overflow with blessings. In the sacred hours of 3 to 5 a.m., another powerful practice to embrace is setting clear intentions for your day. This is not merely about making a to-do list. It's about aligning your heart and mind with your purpose and the vision that God has for your life. As you rise in the early morning, take a moment to pause and reflect on what you desire to achieve, both in the short term and the long term. Intentionality transforms your approach to each day, turning your actions into purposeful steps toward your goals. As you establish your intentions, it's crucial to ensure they are rooted in your values and aligned with your purpose. Take a moment to consider what truly matters to you. Is it family, career growth, service to others, or personal development? Aligning your intentions with your core values infuses them with authenticity, allowing you to pursue goals that resonate deeply within you. This alignment ensures that your actions throughout the day reflect who you are at your core. Next, write down your intentions. Putting pen to paper solidifies your commitment and creates a tangible reminder of your goals. This simple act serves as an anchor, helping you to stay focused amid life's distractions. As you write, be specific. Instead of vague intentions like "I want to be successful," define what success looks like for you. Whether it's completing a project at work, nurturing a relationship, or engaging in self-care, specificity adds clarity to your day. Moreover, incorporate affirmations into your intention-setting practice. Affirmations are powerful statements that reinforce your belief in yourself and your ability to achieve your goals. For instance, you might say, "I am capable of overcoming any challenge that comes my way." Or, "I am committed to living my purpose." Repeating these affirmations strengthens your mindset and prepares you to face the day with confidence. As you set your intentions, consider how you can measure your progress throughout the day. Identify specific actions that will move you closer to your goals. This could be as simple as making a phone call, dedicating time to a project, or reaching out to someone in need. By identifying actionable steps, you create a roadmap for your day, ensuring that your intentions are not just dreams but concrete plans. When challenges arise, and they inevitably will, revisit your intentions. Ground yourself in the vision you created during these early hours. Remind yourself of your purpose and the reasons behind your goals. This practice builds resilience, helping you to navigate obstacles with grace and determination. As the world awakens around you, let the intentions you set guide your interactions and decisions. Carry them with you as you move through your day, allowing them to inform your choices and shape your experiences. When you act with intention, you create a ripple effect that not only transforms your own life, but also impacts those around you. By embracing the power of intention setting in these early morning hours, you equip yourself to live a life of purpose and meaning. You become an active participant in your journey, consciously steering your ship toward the destination God has for you. Each day becomes an opportunity to align your actions with your vision, empowering you to step boldly into the life you were created to live. Embrace this practice and watch as your days unfold with clarity, purpose, and divine alignment. As the clock strikes the early morning hours between 3 and 5 a.m., this time becomes a fertile ground for cultivating a spirit of creativity. In the quiet stillness of these moments, you are gifted with a unique opportunity to tap into the creative potential that lies within you. Creativity is not just confined to the arts. It encompasses problem solving, innovation, and the ability to think outside the box. When you embrace this creative energy, you unlock new pathways for growth and transformation in your life. Begin by allowing your mind to wander freely. Give yourself permission to dream without limitations. What ideas or visions have been brewing in your heart? Often in the hustle and bustle of everyday life, we stifle our creativity due to fear or self-doubt. However, in these early hours, free from the distractions of the day, you can reconnect with your imaginative self. Picture your dreams vividly and let them unfold without judgment or restraint. Consider engaging in creative exercises that ignite your imagination. This could involve journaling, sketching, brainstorming, or even just daydreaming. As you put pen to paper, allow your thoughts to flow freely. Don't worry about grammar or structure, simply express what comes to mind. This exercise can lead to breakthroughs that you might not have otherwise discovered. Many great ideas and inventions emerge from moments of unstructured thinking, so embrace the power of creativity in your morning routine. Another essential aspect of creativity is embracing the power of play. Often as adults, we forget the joy of playfulness, but in these early hours, you can reconnect with that spirit. Engage in activities that bring you joy and allow your mind to explore new concepts. Play can manifest in various ways, whether through writing poetry, playing an instrument, or experimenting with new recipes in the kitchen. This playful exploration can stimulate your creative thinking and inspire innovative solutions to challenges you face. In addition to play, immerse yourself in inspiration. Surround yourself with things that ignite your creativity, whether it's reading a book, listening to music, or watching motivational talks. Exposure to different perspectives can spark new ideas and push you to think beyond your current limits. In these early hours, seek out material that resonates with your passions and fuels your desire to create. Allow these influences to permeate your mind, paving the way for original thoughts and concepts to emerge. Moreover, don't shy away from collaboration. Engaging with others can significantly enhance your creative process. Reach out to like-minded individuals or join groups where you can share ideas and feedback. Collaboration fosters a rich exchange of thoughts, and you may find that your creativity flourishes when you are part of a community. In the quiet of the early morning, take a moment to connect with someone, whether it's through a text, a phone call, or simply sharing your ideas with a trusted friend. Their insights might provide the spark needed to take your creative endeavors to the next level. As you explore your creativity in the early morning hours, be open to the unexpected. Sometimes the most profound insights come when you least expect them. Stay curious and willing to venture into the unknown. If an idea arises that feels out of reach, don't dismiss it. Instead, consider how you might explore it further. Your willingness to embrace the unconventional can lead you to innovative solutions and unique opportunities. As you transition from your quiet reflection to the activities of the day, carry this spirit of creativity with you. Let it infuse your tasks, interactions, and decisions. Approach challenges with a creative mindset, asking yourself, how can I view this situation differently? What innovative solutions can I explore? By adopting this perspective, you not only enhance your problem-solving abilities, but also create a ripple effect of creativity that influences those around you. In the sacred hours of 3 to 5 a.m., you have the chance to unlock your creative potential and embrace the unique gifts God has placed within you. This is a time to dream, to play, and to explore the depths of your imagination. When you tap into your creativity, you empower yourself to not only envision a better future, but also take the steps necessary to bring that vision to life. Embrace these moments of inspiration and allow them to guide you toward a life filled with innovation, joy, and purposeful creation. As you navigate the tranquil hours between 3 and 5 a.m., one of the most profound practices you can engage in is the pursuit of self-reflection. This is a time when the world is quiet, allowing you to turn your focus inward and examine your thoughts, feelings, and actions with honesty and clarity. Self-reflection is an essential tool for personal growth and development. It enables you to gain insights into your life, understand your motivations, and identify areas for improvement. Start by creating a comfortable space where you can sit in silence and allow your thoughts to flow. Take a few deep breaths, calming your mind and centering your spirit. As you settle into this reflective state, consider the experiences of the past day or week. What moments stood out to you? What emotions did you experience? This practice of mindfulness can bring to light feelings or events that may have gone unnoticed in the rush of daily life. By acknowledging these moments, you can begin to understand how they shape your behavior and your outlook. Next, think about your goals and aspirations. Are you aligned with your purpose? Reflect on the steps you've taken toward your dreams and evaluate whether they resonate with your true desires. Often we set goals based on external expectations or societal pressures rather than what genuinely fulfills us. During these quiet hours, question the motives behind your ambitions. Are they driven by passion or are they influenced by the opinions of others? This introspection is vital for aligning your actions with your true self. Additionally, take time to examine any recurring patterns in your thoughts or behaviors. Are there negative beliefs that hold you back? Self-reflection helps to uncover limiting mindsets that may be hindering your progress. Once you identify these patterns, you can consciously work to reframe them. For example, if you find yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," challenge that thought by reminding yourself of your accomplishments and the strengths you possess. Replacing negativity with affirmations of self-worth is a powerful step toward personal empowerment. As you reflect, consider journaling your thoughts. Writing provides clarity and serves as a record of your insights over time. Document your feelings, experiences, and realizations, allowing them to guide your future actions. Journaling not only enhances your self-awareness, but also serves as a tool for accountability. When you put your thoughts on paper, you create a roadmap for your growth and can track your progress along the way. In the stillness of these early hours, it's also essential to practice self-compassion. As you reflect on your experiences, recognize that you are on a journey of learning and growth. Be gentle with yourself in moments of struggle or perceived failure. Understand that setbacks are part of the process and offer valuable lessons. Embracing self-compassion allows you to approach your shortcomings with kindness, fostering resilience and the courage to move forward. Finally, consider how you can incorporate your reflections into your daily routine. What changes can you implement based on the insights you've gained? Whether it's setting aside time for self-care, establishing healthier boundaries in relationships, or pursuing a new passion, the key is to take action on your reflections. Create a plan that integrates your newfound awareness into your life, making adjustments that align with your goals and values. Self-reflection during these sacred hours offers a pathway to understanding yourself more deeply. It invites you to confront your truths and to emerge stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your purpose. By taking the time to engage in this practice, you unlock the door to personal transformation and empowerment, setting the stage for a life lived with intention and authenticity. Embrace this opportunity to reflect and allow it to guide you toward a deeper connection with yourself and your purpose in the world. As the early hours of 3 to 5 a.m. unfold, it is essential to embrace the practice of gratitude, which can profoundly shift your mindset and enhance your overall well-being. Gratitude is not merely a fleeting emotion, it is a powerful practice that can transform your perspective on life. In the stillness of the morning, you have the perfect opportunity to cultivate this attitude, allowing it to permeate your thoughts and influence your actions throughout the day. Begin by reflecting on the blessings in your life, both big and small. As you sit in quiet contemplation, consider the people, experiences, and opportunities that enrich your life. This could be as simple as appreciating the warmth of your home, the support of loved ones, or even the beauty of nature outside your window. Gratitude encourages you to focus on the positive aspects of your life, fostering a mindset that recognizes abundance rather than scarcity. You might choose to keep a gratitude journal where you can write down 3 to 5 things you are grateful for each morning. This practice not only reinforces your appreciation for what you have, but also helps you cultivate a habit of recognizing the good in your life. Over time, you will find that your perspective shifts. You begin to notice more of the positive moments throughout your day, no matter how small they may be. This intentional focus on gratitude allows you to create a positive feedback loop where gratitude leads to greater joy and fulfillment. In addition to recognizing your blessings, take time to express gratitude to those around you. Reach out to someone who has made a difference in your life and let them know how much you appreciate their presence and support. A simple message or phone call can strengthen your relationships and foster a sense of connection. Gratitude is contagious. When you express appreciation, it often inspires others to reflect on their own blessings and share that positivity in return. Furthermore, practice gratitude even in challenging situations. Life is not always smooth sailing. There will be times of difficulty, disappointment, and struggle. However, within every challenge lies an opportunity for growth and learning. In the quiet of the morning, reflect on the lessons learned from past hardships. What did those experiences teach you? How did they shape you into the person you are today? By reframing difficulties through a lens of gratitude, you empower yourself to find strength and resilience in adversity. Consider also the idea of gratitude as a daily ritual. As you rise each morning, take a moment to express thanks for the new day ahead. Embrace the potential that each morning holds and the fresh opportunities that come with it. This practice sets a positive tone for your day, reminding you that each moment is a gift, an invitation to engage with life fully. Moreover, integrate gratitude into your interactions throughout the day. Make it a habit to acknowledge the efforts of those around you. Whether it's a colleague, a family member, or a stranger, a simple compliment or word of thanks can brighten someone's day and create an uplifting atmosphere. When you spread gratitude, you not only enhance your own well-being, but also contribute positively to the lives of others, creating a ripple effect of kindness and appreciation. Finally, reflect on the connection between gratitude and spiritual growth. Many spiritual teachings emphasize the importance of gratitude as a means of connecting with a higher power. In these early hours, take a moment to express your gratitude to God for the blessings in your life. Acknowledge the divine presence in your journey, recognizing that everything you have is a gift. This spiritual practice deepens your faith and cultivates a sense of purpose, reinforcing the idea that you are part of a greater plan. As you immerse yourself in the practice of gratitude during these sacred hours, you will discover that it becomes a powerful tool for transformation. It shifts your focus from what is lacking in your life to an appreciation of the abundance that already exists. Gratitude enriches your perspective, enhances your relationships, and fosters resilience in the face of challenges. By making gratitude a central part of your morning routine, you lay the foundation for a fulfilling and purpose-driven life, one that celebrates the richness of every moment. In the precious hours between 3 and 5 a.m., one of the most transformative practices you can engage in is connecting with your spiritual self through prayer. This time is imbued with stillness and a unique energy, creating the perfect atmosphere for deepening your relationship with the divine. Prayer is not merely a ritual, it is a heartfelt conversation with God that allows you to express your thoughts, desires, and emotions. It is a profound opportunity to listen to that still small voice within you that guides you toward your purpose. As you begin your prayer, create a sacred space, one where you feel at peace and can fully immerse yourself in the moment. This could be a quiet corner of your home, a space with soft lighting, or even outdoors surrounded by nature. Begin by taking a few deep breaths to center yourself, letting go of any distractions or worries. In this serene environment, you can open your heart and mind to the presence of God. When you pray, approach it with intention and authenticity. Speak openly about your fears, hopes, and dreams. This is not the time for formalities, rather, it's a moment to share your true self. Tell God about the challenges you are facing, the aspirations that stir your heart, and the gratitude you feel for the blessings in your life. Vulnerability in prayer fosters a deeper connection, allowing you to engage with the divine in a more meaningful way. Listening is just as vital as speaking in prayer. After expressing your thoughts, take time to be still and listen. This is the moment to cultivate a receptive spirit, allowing God to speak to you through intuition, inspiration, or even a sense of peace. Sometimes the answers we seek come not in the form of words, but as a feeling or clarity about our next steps. Be patient with this process. Often, the messages from God require time to unfold and reveal themselves. In addition to personal prayers, consider including prayers for others. Intercessory prayer, praying for the needs and well-being of friends, family, or even strangers extends your compassion beyond yourself. It allows you to participate in a collective spiritual practice, recognizing that we are all interconnected. When you lift others in prayer, you not only support them in their journeys, but also cultivate a spirit of love and generosity within yourself. You may also choose to pray for guidance regarding specific decisions or challenges you are facing. Seek clarity on the path ahead, asking for wisdom and discernment. Remember that seeking guidance is a sign of strength. It acknowledges that you cannot do it all alone. Embrace this opportunity to align your will with God's purpose for your life, trusting that you will be led in the right direction. Moreover, use this time for reflective prayer. After sharing your concerns and desires, meditate on scripture or spiritual texts that resonate with you. Let these words sink deep into your heart, allowing them to inspire and uplift you. Reflective prayer is about integrating the teachings of your faith into your daily life. It empowers you to embody the values and principles that guide you, helping you live a life that is true to your spiritual beliefs. Lastly, consider setting intentions during your prayer time. As you close your session, express specific intentions for the day or week ahead. This could include intentions for your personal growth, your relationships, or your professional endeavors. By articulating your intentions, you create a framework for your actions, guiding your steps as you move through the day. Engaging in prayer during these sacred hours allows you to tap into a deeper sense of purpose and connection with the divine. It strengthens your faith, offers comfort in times of uncertainty, and empowers you to approach life's challenges with courage. As you make prayer a priority in your morning routine, you open yourself to the transformative power of divine guidance, paving the way for a life that reflects your highest aspirations and values. Embrace this time of connection and watch as your spiritual journey unfolds with greater clarity and purpose. As the dawn breaks and the world begins to awaken, the hours between 3 and 5 a.m. present a sacred opportunity for transformation. In these moments of stillness, you are invited to connect deeply with your spiritual self, fostering a relationship with God that transcends the ordinary. By engaging in prayer, expressing gratitude, and setting intentions, you create a foundation for a fulfilling and purposeful life. Embrace this sacred hour as a time for